Happy Sunday. Welcome back to another live show with Mr.BetonYou gig talk. Listen, sorry I'm late. Sunday is a busy day. We have some topics tonight. Um, I want to get some perspective on some things because I'm a little worried, if I'm being honest with you, about the state of what's happening. And some things I'm hopeful about. Some things I think that are happening are good. Others I think we're digging ourselves a hole out of a current need, but we're going to dig ourselves a hole too big and we're going to bury ourselves. That's my fear. And I believe we're going down the wrong path. That's the topics tonight. We're going to talk legislation. We're going to talk transparency. We're going to talk politics. Uh, Not politics, I'm sorry. We're going to talk, I guess, politicians, senators, or whoever getting involved in the gig economy and why I think that is dangerous. I'm going to go on a little bit of tangents here and a little bit of theorizing, a little bit of my opinion, but I open these shows up to the community in a way where anybody can have their voice heard, have an opinion, and share information and their insights. Because, contrary to belief, I don't know it all. I'm not going to pretend to act like I know it all or like what I think is going to best serve the majority or serve you. None of us know that. And anybody claiming to know that or saying that their idea is going to work or their idea is the best or look at this or look at that, they're fooling themselves and they're lying to you. Because what I've learned in being in the gig economy for what, 5 years now, a little over 5 years, 5 years, is my experience will not match or mirror yours. What's important to me might not be important to you. What's important to somebody in California and in Florida or New York or Illinois or Texas, their experience and their goals and how they work the gig economy could be completely different. And I'll end the intro with this. Just because the current state of legislation, unions, current state of how we are written as 1099 independent contractor, just because that doesn't match with something that we should have doesn't mean that it won't work. Things are built and can be broken and can be either put back together or completely rebuild into something entirely new. And that's what I think we need in the gig economy. We need some things that are a little bit different so that we are protected in a way that we're not right now. Okay? So, and money is all most of us care about. Not all, but the majority. So put in the chat. I'll say hi to you guys in a minute. Money is the one thing. Any changes that happen, if you're not making more money, but changes happen, they are insignificant. I'll die on that hill. If change happens in your state, in your city, or whatever, but it doesn't equate to you making more money, it's absolutely irrelevant. It means nothing. Because any kind of new labor law legislation, something that gets passed, there has to be some kind of monetary gain behind it for us to have something. Now, there could be a deactivation policy to where you have some protections and that could leave you on the app to continue to earn. But a lot of people fought really hard in this country to have better pay, to have a minimum wage intact, to have a overtime. Like all these things, we have not had that long in this country. And all those things allowed people benefits, paid time off, sick leave, medical leave, maternity leave for men and women. Like some people died for these things, but it's all in order for you to make more money and have more benefits. So anything that we want to do in the gig economy as 1099 delivery drivers, if there's not a monetary value tied behind it, it's absolutely useless. Who do we have in the chat tonight? All right, let me say hi to everybody. That's my intro for the night. Oh, I will have the live stream link open. Hit that thumbs up. Adam, Jay, Aaron, Kevin. What's up, Red? Gig Wars Official, St. Pete, Jessica. I see DoorDash Travel Mama. I see King, Louisiana. What's going on? What's up, boss? I mean, Houston, Texas. Spark sucks. That sucks. I'm hard to hear that. Jeremy, what's up, brother? How you doing? Hope you had a great week. Thomas, appreciate you being a member. James, Adam, Kevin, Khalil Lee. I see Holic. What's up? What's up? Go and hit that like button. Appreciate that. Jody, Kenyatta. What's up? April, Drain the Swamp. What's up? What's up? What's up? Aaron. All right. So hit that thumbs up. Let's get some people in here. The streamer link will be open in just a little while. Okay. Before I get into the topic, that was my intro right off the cup, right off the dome. I want to say this. I think anybody in this space, content creator, not content creator, driver, anybody that's trying to do something, I absolutely tip my cap and I salute, because that to me is like spending your time and energy trying to get something done for the betterment of other drivers that most of us don't even know each other. We don't meet. I think that could be applauded, but it doesn't mean it's the right thing. What's interesting to me is a couple of years back, a lot of us were against unions and against legislation, and I was kind of part of that, right? And we all have different opinions about it, right? But now it seems like there's a growing trend of people that are like pro legislation. We want legislation. We want politicians in gig work because of the bad things some of the apps are doing, whether it's with pay, less transparency, false deactivations, theft. I mean, for me, one of the biggest issues is these apps are skimming money. And whether or not you think it's a big deal or not, or if it's relevant, they're doing it. Some have been caught, others have yet to be caught, but they will be caught. Mark my words. They're doing it, and they're doing it because there's nothing put in place to stop them. So some would say we need some kind of legislation. We need the politicians. This is where I'm standing here. I don't like politics. I am, call me conspiracy theorist, call me whatever. I don't like politicians. I don't trust them. I don't like the way the two-party system is set up. I don't like the way, I do not like it. So I don't trust them. I trust myself more than, I've been very clear on this. We can do more for ourselves than any other one company or individual can do for us. Because I believe these politicians are just looking at us as voters and potential, I want to pass this bill because it looks good on my credentials. They don't care about us. So for us to try to align with politicians that mostly have never done this work, I think is backwards thinking and it's illogical. I don't like it. I think it's not going to serve any good. And I'm going to say this. I think I've been critical of certain union groups, right to workers groups. There's ones in LA, there's some in in New York and other cities, right? I've been critical. I'm not as critical anymore. And some of them, they team up with a local alderman, council representative. That you have to have that. Unfortunately, right now we have to have that, right? And I get it on some levels, but I think we're digging a hole. We're standing in it, saying, "Oh, I like this vantage point. The hole's only a foot deep. Oh, my feet are comfortable. There's a lot of mud on the surface, but now I dug a hole. And now the hole's not muddy." But a year or 2 or 5 from now, the hole's going to be 10 feet deep and we're not going to be able to get out. We're going to dig ourselves such a big gap in the hole. And we're going to look up and say, now I can't get out. Now I just destroyed what I thought was bad, and now it's absolutely terrible. I believe that's where we're going. I believe that's where we're going. So I'm fearful, not for myself, but I'm fearful for the ones that are going to continue to do this and want a immediate win. They want to win a battle, but they're going to lose the war. And I feel like that's where we're headed. We're going to lose the war, but we're just happy with winning a battle, and that's not okay. We need bigger change. And I don't even know if any of us could really do that, because the companies are going to continue to just prey upon the uneducated, the vulnerable, the people coming here doing the works. They're good with the $2 orders, the $8 catering, the $20 triple batch 200 item Instacarts. They're good with the $3 ride shares. They're good with the Spark $7 60-mile orders. They're good with it because they don't know any better. But I think us aligning and trying to have too much legislation is going to ruin the gig economy. And I don't have the answers necessarily. This is my opinion. I look to you guys for some perspective. But I believe the more legislation that is going to continue to write, I think it's the worse. I think the worse it's going to get. And I think some of us are critical of Prop 22. I think a lot of people do okay with Prop 22 in California. I've met several of them. I've been to California. I've been to downtown LA. I've been to 4 times now, I believe. I've been to 4 of the Curbivore events. I've met hundreds of drivers. I haven't had one person to my face tell me that they hate Prop 22. And I've been to downtown LA. So I'm just worried that I think there's a few people in the metaverse universes here on the YouTubes, and they're talking for the 1%. And I believe the 99% aren't heard. Maybe I need to talk for the people. I don't know. But I think we're going down. I think we're digging a small little hole, and it's going to get so big, and we're going to look up. We're not going to be able to get out of it because we align with politicians that don't care for us. Brooke, appreciate the $2. Thank you so much. All right, so let me read some comments and see. I see Reggie. Let me see. Who else we got in here? Tim, what's up, man? Why just DoorDash forced to increase? You do realize there are a lot more gig apps than DoorDash. Absolutely. I don't even do it anymore. 7-figure Dashing investor. I am tired of this employee talk. We signed up as business owners. Run it like a business, and it will reward you like a business. Yeah, I mostly agree with that. But once again, most of us don't look at it like that, and the companies know that 99% of people aren't running it that way. So, there's something to be said for trying to, we. I get what you're saying. I don't think most people, I'm not speaking for me. I'll be fine. But I believe these companies do a really good job of just taking advantage of the less fortunate. I believe it. We can agree to disagree on that. I believe that. So what can we have in place to help that? I don't really know. What's up, Yost? What's up, man? How you doing? Heather, what's up? What's up? Junebug. DT is playing your audio on his live. That's what's up. Is that my boy Dashing Trader? What up, what up, what up? This going to be a touchy topic. Absolutely. Listen, you got to rattle the cage sometimes. And I think what I want to remind us is just because something isn't the way, just because law or we're independent contractors running like a business, DoorDash and these companies do a really good job of, they sell a be your own boss. Let me tell you something right now. Most of you are not your own boss. I hate to admit it. You're not your own boss. You are not your own boss. You're not your own boss. Most of you are not. Okay. Let's see, bro. Let me see what we got in there. I used to be completely against a form of intervention, but my view has changed as gig works officials. With all the shady things I've seen over the years, I don't know the answer, but I'm open to some level of oversight. I'm with you. I think that is perfectly said. Let me put it on the screen because I'm feeling the same way you are. Hold on a second. Because let me see. I think we need something. But like you, I don't know what it is necessarily, right? But I don't believe what I'm hearing is what we need. I don't believe that. I don't believe what I'm hearing most people talk about is what's actually going to work in the long haul. I think it's a small battle, like we might win a small battle, but the war, there has to be a different option out there for us. And I know, listen, I've never been in a union. I'm not a union member. My family's not pro-union, but like there's this sentiment of, well, we're independent contractors, Pedro. It's you can't be union. You can't be union. Why? Why? I'm not saying that's what I think we need, but I think we're too reluctant to push the envelope and really like, why? Because it's never been done? Because somebody wrote laws before? Like, I think a lot of us, our egos are so big. It's like, well, I'm independent. So if I'm a union, I'm not an independent. I don't want nobody speaking for me. You might not want somebody speaking for you. Other people might want that. They might actually need that. We might need that. So we want to align with politicians, but we won't align with unions. That doesn't make any sense. I don't trust the government. I'm sorry. I don't. And someone say you can't trust unions. There might be something to that. Like I said, I've never been a part of one. I don't know the inner workings. I know there's union dues and you have somebody that speaks for you and you do that. I get it. This isn't a pro-union live. However, I think a lot of us are thinking about it only on the one side. Junebug, thanks for the $5. DT is playing your audio on his live. Much love from the FDA fan. Appreciate that so much for the 5. Not necessary, but I do appreciate that. I think, I see people like, well, we can't do this, we can't do that. That's not what we are. That's not what we are. We have to rewrite something. Something has to happen. I don't have the answers, but I think we have to have all avenues open for discussion, all avenues open. We can't shut the door on something because it seems too radical or it seems too different or it seems like, well, no, then my rights are taken away. You don't have any rights to begin with. So what rights are we talking about here? Think about that for a second. We're worried about some name tag. It's like we're like these managers. When you're a manager at a place and you get a name tag, it says Pedro Santiago, general manager or assistant to the assistant director. We're like all Michael Scott from the show The Office. Like we think we're bigger than we're more important than we are. We give these name tags, and we feel like if we don't have a name tag that says independent contractor, we are somehow less than. That's not the truth. You are what you do every day with the apps, your hustle, that defines you. Your money that you make that hits your account, how you feel about the work you're doing, how your family feels, your work-life balance. It doesn't matter if you're in a union, if you're independent, if you're self-employed, if you're an employee without benefits, if you're an employee. What you call yourself is absolutely irrelevant. And I think some of us, we hide behind this notion of, well, I'm this and I've been this. That's not working for a lot of people. And let's strip everything off and start anew and say, okay, what would really make sense, regardless of what is the truth right now, and regardless of what the law, what would really make sense? What would really serve the majority of us? We're in a democracy, right? We can't have legislation that's working for just a few handful of individuals. That doesn't work. That's not what this country is about. So just because we are independent contractors doesn't mean we can't have something that other people have that allows protections, benefits, and better pay. Because all of you guys watch videos, come to a live to complain, want to hear whatever, you want to have because you're not making money. Let's call it what it is. We all get mad when they drop the base pay. I do it. We all get mad when there's no tip, when we get tip baited, when something happens, when the work doesn't match the pay. Money is everything when you're trying to earn money, like when you're trying to make a living. That's the top thing. Okay? Because all of y'all that don't like DoorDash, if DoorDash tomorrow was paying you $20 for every order minimum, every single one of you would turn the app on. You just would. Because then it would become the best app out there. And everybody would flood to the app because money is what drives you to wake up. It was what drives you to have certain rankings and ratings. And we need those. If we're just trying to say proximity and whoever's closest to the pin, that's crazy to me. There has to be some form of ratings in there, because that's what separates the good drivers and the bad drivers. So if everybody is just on the same playing field and I'm independent, so you can't have a ratings, what are we talking about here? So then everybody's in making the same money, right? Because they're just going to have to send everybody the same thing. Like we have to separate based on customer rating, on time, based on those kind of things, not acceptance rate necessarily. But I tell you what, if there's some dude out there taking $2 orders and his AR is 90%, give him a great order. I don't care. He's worked his ass off for it, right? So I think we have to get away from, well, this isn't what it was, this isn't, I don't want to be called this because I'm this. It doesn't matter. Money, protections, those are the things that should matter us. Those are things we should be talking about, in my opinion. Kevin, what's up? Adam, what's up? 5 spark runs. Unions are just a different form of government, says David. It taxes paid for benefits, and the polls take too much of the tax and give too little benefit. Maybe, yeah, sure. I'm not saying let's join a union. I got a link for you to sign up. I'm not pushing that, but I want to challenge us to look at things from both sides. I believe for me, the the measure of somebody that can really impact changes if you're going to listen to everybody and you're not going to shut down one thing, and we're not just going to completely dismiss it because it seems too different, or like I said, the name tag now has to change. We're no longer independent. I'll tell you this: if I said, you know what, guys, you're going to be employees, you're going to get gas tax, you're going to get this, you're going to get, you're going to get, two free oil changes a year, you're going to get some kind of mileage thing, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, and at the end of the year, if you're full time, you're going to wind up netting an extra $15,000 or whatever, and then you're going to have some form of like medical. Every one of y'all would sign up, and if you didn't, you're stupid. If you were able to still work the apps the same way, still come and go as you wanted, like, who cares if you're an employee? It doesn't really matter, because most of you guys are struggling. I see it from content creators. I see it from people that went back to a W-2, people that used to be in a live show. People come to these streams to bitch and complain about how they hate it, but then they don't want something that would probably benefit them long term. I'm not talking about a small little battle win. I'm talking about long term, bigger picture. That's what I want to get into tonight with the open link. Okay, and I'm definitely open to different perspectives. This kind of work is great. It's done me really well. I'm extremely grateful for it. But at the same time, there's things that are not good about it. And for me, it's the predatory way the apps steal money, manipulate customers and drivers, and a lack of protection when you're deactivated. Those are the main things for me, right? All the other stuff, like the base pay being lower, like I get it. That's business. They're all going to do it. But for me, it's the thievery. It's the manipulation part. It's saying one thing and doing another. That to me is a bigger issue, right? And when you are an employee at a place, you don't have to deal with that as much. You got an HR department, you got some protections, we don't have any of that. And all of you can be deactivated tomorrow. I got 100 emails this week. No exaggeration. When I made the video, 100 emails. And I would say 80 out of those 100, I mean, listen, some people love to send an email and just talk, whatever. These are real life stories of people that said they got deactivated from Spark, from this app. I don't know what happened. I can't do this. I can't do that. That's the issue. And while most people, a lot of people at least, when you get deactivated, you did something against TOS. But the TOS is faulty. That's part of the manipulation. They send you the updated TOS right before you're supposed to dash, before your Instacart. Most of y'all ain't reading all that. So there's things buried in there, and they can easily let go of you, and you have no protection at all. You have 0% protection. None. I've dealt with some of that. Some of it's my fault, some of it maybe isn't, and I'll figure it out. But I think most drivers, when they have a deactivation, based on the 100 emails I read, it's a struggle. It's a struggle for most individuals. All right, let's see. Pedro killing it, $500 a day. He doesn't have to do much to complain. I don't make well. I don't make 500 in the gig economy, so let's not get it twisted here. Okay, hit that like. I appreciate y'all. I see mine sitting here. Jose, Kevin again, RT Trader. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? How you doing, man? Junebug, RT, mindset, Jose. All right, so let me ask you guys a question. What am I missing with the? Maybe I'm wrong, but do you feel? I'm talking to you directly. Do you feel some type of way about being an independent contractor? Do you love wearing that? Is it like a badge of honor? Do you love that you can say you're that and you have that freedom and flexibility? I mean, most of you probably really like that. That's part of why you stay. And you don't want an employee, you don't want a boss, you don't want, I get it. But is that the reluctancy of teaming up with somebody that's not a politician, that can speak for you, that can give you some kind of like protection and more money and speak on your behalf? Because right now, you can't speak on your behalf. You can't call DoorDash, Instacart, Curry, Roadie, Spark, Uber. You can't call them to negotiate anything. Delivered that. Cartwheel. What apps am I missing? Grubhub. You can't call them to do anything on your behalf for the most part. You can call support sometimes, maybe get a little bump in pay if you got I've done that. You get tip added, they might give you a credit if you talk to the right. There's something in there, but on a day-to-day basis, that might happen to some of y'all once or twice a year. You have no protection, and you're driving your vehicle into the ground, and you're not putting into any. Most of us aren't putting into anything for the future. So once again, we're winning the battle, but losing the war. So how do we win the war personally for ourselves? What do we need to do? Is it get out of the gig economy? Is it insert something into the gig economy that gives us something? I don't know. Let's read some comments. What is easier for tax season, 1099 or W-2? It depends on. I'm not a tax professional, but 1099 can be complicated depending on how you do it. W-2 could be easier, but there's a lot of factors missing there. I definitely think that, says Dashing Trader, more legislation is going to be coming down the pipeline either way. I think you're right. I think we're going to have some legislation. I'm worried, Trader, that it's actually not going to be what we need. I think it's going to be rushed. I think it's going to be not helpful from a monetary standpoint and protection standpoint. I think it's going to be just lipstick on a pig. You guys heard that before? I think it's just going to be dressed up with a nice little bow on it, but that's it. And it's not going to do anything for most drivers at all. And a lot of us like to talk shit on Prop 22, but we don't live in California. And we talk to people outside of the delivery drivers that didn't like it, but we're a delivery driver community. So it's just strange. It's strange, right? It's weird. It's what I'm seeing is strange. We're trying to win a battle. We're going to lose the war. So I'll stand by myself. Maybe my opinion is completely too different, and that's okay. But maybe it can give us a conversation, something else to think about, right? I think a lot of us are just, nope, I don't want that because I'm an independent contractor. You're not an independent contractor. Period, full stop. Just because the government and the businesses get a tax benefit from calling you an independent contractor, y'all putting your trust in that? It has to be rewritten. We are something else. We're right now, we're just kind of like something that cannot be defined clearly. So we have people trying to do it, and maybe it's right, maybe it isn't, but it has to be rewritten. We're in a different time now. These apps have been around for 10 plus years, but the order volume and how many apps there are, how many millions of new people doing it, the way that the consumers now rely upon it, it's completely different than it was in its inception. So something has to change. In its similar manner of when we have all these factory jobs, these workers, these construction workers, these men and women building things, and they didn't have any protections, 80 hours a week, low pay, crappy work conditions. What happened? Unions came in. They offered protections, more pay. We'll speak in your behalf. I'm not saying we need that. Hear me loud and clear. But we need something. Because right now we can't speak for it. We can't do it ourselves. But I'll be damned if I'll line up with a politician and hold their hand and say, "Can you help me, please?" I'm so anti-government, y'all have no idea. That's a whole nother channel that I've already started. I can't even begin to tell you how I'm not aligned with how it's happening right now in this country. So for me to align and say, help us, they can't help anybody right now but themselves. April Bean, I live in California, and the only way you get 37 hours if you take all the trash and ruin your car and your tires and your oil. Sure, probably. Yeah. Yeah, talking about Aldi. You have to log everything, literally. Yeah. Gigwise in here, haha. Nobody on gig work is not IC. I'm not with the government interfering with gig work. I feel like it's going to happen at some point. And I don't know. Some of it could be good. It could be bad. I'm not really sure. But I'll say this before I put the link in: can gig workers get the same benefits as a W-2 job? Says Adam. Well, not the way the laws are written right now, but it doesn't mean that can't change. It doesn't mean it can't change. And there's enough of us that I believe, and this is a pipe dream, if we got together somehow, we could do more than just getting 10 people from across the nation to work with a couple politicians. That's gonna be a battle win, not a war win, right? We have to come about this in a different way. That's how I'm looking at it. But once again, I don't know everything. I don't claim to know it all. I'm not some gig czar. I don't know all these politicians. I don't but I am level headed. And I can see when I think people are just doing it for themselves. You know, like just it seems too um um personally driven versus people driven. Personally versus people. I'm trying to do something for the people. Like I'm chilling. I'm good. I'll get deactivated. I'll make money. I'll figure it out. I ain't worried about me. But I'm worried about the hole that we're digging in and sitting in it, and now our boots aren't muddied because the ground was muddy, but now we dug a little hole and our boots are good. But then we're gonna keep digging and we're gonna look up and be like, fuck, I can't get out. All right, I'm gonna put the link up. All right, let me do this real quick. Look at Amazon, those workers that unionize, they just closed those shipping centers. Yeah, and that's a problem because what happens is you you could sometimes have that, but you know I think what unions, I think what we got to remember is a lot of people, some of y'all can be like, well, Pedro's pro union. I'm not, but I'm trying to give you guys both sides here and give you something to think about, right? Because these companies will do everything they can. The more legislation or the more unions, then they're going to figure out a way to keep their bonuses, keep their share prices high, keep their money. Okay, billionaires and CEOs, they're not losing out. They're going to continue to win. The pandemic's shown us that, like, and then us usually continue to lose, right? But it doesn't mean you don't. It doesn't mean you can't keep fighting for something. It doesn't mean you just give up, because there are some people that work at Amazon or UPS or whatever, that they're doing better because they actually said this isn't going to work for me. You know what I'm saying? Like football players do it. They hold out. Sometimes it works to their benefit, sometimes it doesn't. But they're standing up for themselves. Hey, I just played 4 years on a rookie deal. I'm the MVP. I'm killing it. I need more money. And sometimes we look at them like, dude, you make 10 million a year. Now you want 15. What's the big deal? You're a millionaire. Their careers are short. Hey, if that's what they believe in, fine. Because the guy writing the checks, they make money every single year. Amazon, they're making money, buco bucks. So there's nothing wrong with you saying, I want a bigger piece of the pie because of this, and this. There's nothing wrong with it. The minute you stop talking is the minute that you're not going to be heard. But I ain't holding hands with a politician. I'm not. I refuse. I refuse to do it. I refuse to do it. Handsome Monster, what up, what up? All right, let me put this link in real quick for you guys. Appreciate the 129 in the building. Appreciate the super chats. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Anybody who wants to join the conversation, hey, what kind of legislation? These are the questions. What kind of legislation would you like? Do you want none at all? What would you like to see? What do you don't want to see? Are you worried about it? Do you want a union? Do you want, and I think we have this it's weird because just because something isn't the way, just because it's not in just those are the questions. I'm gonna stop because I'll say something I'll regret. Okay. But I think it's important to realize that, I think a lot of it's like we're pandering to like like 100 people, and then the 5 million out there are just like, well, what about me? You know what I mean? It's just weird to me. It's very strange because we're small here on YouTube, but there are a lot of people out there that are not being treated okay, and they stay in it because they have to. Those are the people I'm talking for. I'm speaking for. And some of y'all won't get it, and I get it. I completely respect it. But we're trying to help 100 people, and 4 or 5 million to be like, nah, I'm good. Don't worry about them. Let them figure it out. You know, like, so y'all can say what you want about me. That's how I feel, and I'm always going to be somebody that speaks from the heart. Speaks from my experience, from my family experience, the things I've seen, and that's what I see. We're trying to help 100 people right now, and I'm not for that. We already do that. We already do that in this. We already do that. We already pander to the small minorities in this country. Not minorities, but you know what I'm saying. Like we do that to the billionaires, to this group of people over here. We just pander, 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 while the middle class and everybody else just suffers. And I'm sick of it. I'm actually tired of it. All right, let me put this link in for you guys. Appreciate that 5. Mindset Manny says, I scared that the more we ask for, the more control they're going to want over us. Facts, man. Let me hold on. How do I clip that? Can I show that? There it is. Absolutely. Let me read it again. I'm scared that the more we ask for, the more control they're going to want from. True, true. And I'm sitting here saying we should ask for things, but you're right. I feel that. So where's the balance? What do we do? What's the happy medium here? Because sometimes they give us something, but they take 2 or 3 things away. That's kind of your point, right? We win a little battle, like I was saying, but then they win the war, right? So if we don't have the proper legislation, we don't have the proper people speaking for us, we might win a battle, but then they take things away from us, whether it's opportunity or whatever. And then we're still left in a similar spot. You know what I'm saying? It's just we're eating a crap sandwich on a different kind of bread, though. That's all it is, right? All right, let me go ahead and put this in real quick. Give it an inch, take them out. Yeah, yeah. Jeffrey, what up, what up? All right, flexibility is number 1 on my list. All right, I'm gonna put a link in. Anybody can join. I want to see, give me some things that you would like to see, because I think we're digging a hole. The boots now aren't muddy, and we're feeling good, and we're gonna keep digging, and we're gonna look up, and we can't get out. That's how and I could be wrong, but once again, I think we're trying to help about 100 people, and I ain't trying to help 100 people. That's not. That's not. I'm not. I'm not. We live in America. It's a democracy. We vote. Trump's the president, right? Because he got more votes, right? That's what we have. We live with that. Biden won, Obama won, Clinton won, Reagan won, right? Whoever gets the most votes wins, because that's what the people want. And right now, I think we got legislation out there for just a few people, but the other people will suffer at some point. And I ain't for that. All right, so let's go. Link, I'm coming. Hold on. Let me put this in. Invite. Copy. All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and pin it in just a second here. Hold up. If I can find it. There it is. Oh, hold up. Every time I try to do this, I feel there it is. Okay, pin message. There we go. So the link is pinned up at the top. Continue to hit that thumbs up. I appreciate all the love, the super chats, the opinions. No opinion is right or wrong here. Before we have anybody come up, I'm not right or wrong. This is my opinion that I am graced to have while living in this beautiful country. I can have it based on my human experience, based on what I see. And I'm a little not worried for me, but I'm worried the bigger picture, this thing's going to turn into something, and we're going to have more greedy politicians with their crummy little hands in our work, and it will only then benefit the company and the politician, and we'll be left behind. That's what I'm worried about. So, am I clear? Are we clear? Are we clear? All right. Let me see. I think it's pinned. All right, I see a couple people popping in. Just give me a minute here to get this set up. All right, so boom, 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 boom. Let me see. All right. Read a few more comments put up on the screen. For the republic, which it stands, nothing about democracy. There, anyone who thinks otherwise is ignorant or a fool. I don't know what Clint's talking about, but if you're slow at your orders, do better. Okay. What I do think is fair. Let's read this one here before I bring some people up. What I do think is fair is if they give us a reliable car, period, and then we get another one, then it breaks down. Yeah, I mean the cost of that. The companies. I don't expect the company to give us a car. I mean they can't like. I mean, they can, but then what? We get something, and then probably most of our opportunities would be taken away because, so then less people are able to eat in the apps or earn on the apps or pay down debt. I don't expect the car if if I'm an independent contractor. If I'm an employee, sure, there are companies that have been doing deliveries for hundreds of years, mostly 50, 60, right? The Milkman, DHL, FedEx, UP, those are employees. They give you a car and you're good to go. Even other smaller companies will give you a company car and a gas card and some per diem or a stipend, and you're moving around. You can even take that car home sometimes. You know what I mean? Like your pest inspector guys, your contractors, they got like a company car, but it's like kind of theirs. Like I don't expect that. I don't expect that. But I expect them not to steal money. I expect them to have a better deactivation policy. I expect them not to manipulate and outright lie and cheat and steal. I expect that. I think that's reasonable, right? All right. I see Roy. I see AMC. I see Mike. Some of the usual suspects. I saw Kevin. He popped out. I don't know where he's at. April says UPS is union, FedEx is not. Their contract, and they really have to kick their booties. UPS is the way to go if you can actually get in. Sure, yeah. I don't know. I never worked those kind of jobs. I know a lot of those guys have been fighting for pay, $45. I think was it UPS? Yeah, I think some of them got like some of those drivers are making like $120,000 a year now, which is hey, that's great. That's good. $120,000 a year to drive around is a lot of money. But I think they fought for that protection to this that. When you see a company with those crazy profits, I mean they can pay it obviously, right? So I don't know. I've heard a little bit about that. Base pay should not be less than minimum wage when we provide vehicle gas. Yeah, I don't think base pay should ever be less than a gallon of gas in whatever market you live in. I think that's fair. If in St. Louis I got to pay $3, I should never see anything less than $3. That's kind of how I look at it, but obviously that's just my opinion. There's not numbers tied behind that necessarily. That's just what I think. All right, so let's go ahead and bring these guys up real quick. Boots Muddy. What up, Mary? How you doing? Are you delivering the damn conversation? Are you diverting? I don't know what that means, but you can come up, join the show. All right, let's bring up Roy. Let's bring up AMC. Looks like he's on the bike. We got Mike B here as well. What's up, guys? How are you gentlemen doing this evening?
Pretty good, pretty good.
What's up, man? This is becoming a habit.
I'm doing excellent right now.
This
I
becoming a
want to
habit.
talk about this shit.
You said what?
I want to talk about this, man. Let's talk about this for real.
Okay, let's get it cracking.
I want to
You guys
hear.
heard what I was saying?
I want to hear it, bro. I want to hear it.
Give me your thoughts. You go first.
I live right next to, the biggest city ever that pushed the minimum wage on the drivers, where they basically have a rate to consider all the on-call time. It's at roughly $21 an hour, and it adjusts for inflation like every couple of years. I live right next to that shit. I mean, what could I say about it? It's been, dude, it went up like that, and it's been down, and it goes back up, because it seems like the majority of the drivers now, they just come up here when they don't get a schedule out of New York. So it just floods this market every summer. And that's one thing that's been affecting us the most. To me, I mean, there's a lot of stuff when we talk about a wage or we talk about how we can get involved politically. In my opinion, there's a lot of discussions that we have in our community as people that do the gig work, right? That we don't express to media, that we don't, I don't want to say organize, but at least have some sort of standing on, like, dude, how do we push a minimum wage when the accounts are fake? How do we do that? Who is this minimum wage for, bro? People weren't making money. The accounts were fake. And then they put a minimum wage. Who was the minimum wage for, bro? Right? Was it for me that pays taxes every year? Was it for you? Who was this for, bro? Did you even get my input? Did you get everyone's input before you made this decision? Right? But at the same time, what do we got, bro? We got big apps as well. They're market makers. That's what they are. DoorDash, Uber, they created the market. What this needs more than anything is competition, not legislation.
Roy, what do you think?
Legislation is the only thing. The only thing that we're doing is I see a lot of this transparency crap going around on YouTube. That this what that you're opening the door. You're opening the door for the worst
Right.
legislation that you don't want. Look at New Jersey
Yeah.
right now. So that's what you're doing. You're pushing what you want for a few, like you said, maybe a few hundred, few thousand people. You're pushing for that. But in the process, you're going to end up hurting millions of drivers because once you open that door for one thing, we know how legislators are because you're gonna push for transparency and get that through. Guess what? The next group of people, I want this, I want that. They're gonna go run into their next thing you know, you're legislated out the ass, and you're no longer independent. You're technically you're an independent employee, anyways. To me, you're not even a contractor. But yeah, you're just opening the door for more legislation because if you get your way, people are going to want to get their way, and next thing you know, you're going to be legislated out of even doing any kind of work for yourself. You're going to end up being an employee at the end of the day, and we see how that works out. For me, any kind of legislation, it's just people are trying to make a name for themselves because, especially with the transparency shit. We've all done gig work since 2016. I have. I always took my orders based on what I saw. 99% of the people still do gig work that way. Miles to money. I don't need to see what the customer paid. I don't need to see all that. They show you the address. They do all that stuff for you. I don't need to know all that bullshit. I want to see the amount of money for the miles I'm doing. And yes, okay, they hide a 50-cent tip. Ooh, that's so important to see that extra 50 cents. No, it's not that important because even if they didn't tip an extra 50 cents, you're still taking the order based on what you see on your app, which is whatever the money to mile is. So if you get an extra 50 cents, ooh, you got a prize, in my opinion. So by pushing one, all you're doing is going to get a next group to push something else, and then it's going to snowball into something else. And we see the snowball effect doesn't do anybody any good, period. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, the transparency thing's weird to me. I get it. I mean, I think we would all like it, but it doesn't make you more money.
But exactly, and that's what 99% of gig workers complain about is money.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. I want more money. We need better pay. Being able to see what the customer paid and what you're being paid doesn't make you more money. Period. That's not making you money.
You know what's funny is the only way people in this country that have got more money is from what, Roy? A union, right? Think about it.
Exactly.
Right? So I know that's not, once again, disclaimer, I'm not pushing that. I'm not some pro-union guy. I've never been a part of the union. But historically in this country, the only way people have gotten more money, more pay, more protections, better benefits is to have that. That's the only way that it's happened. It hasn't gone through other ways that I'm aware of. But it's interesting. Mike, what do you say, man? Is there any kind of legislation that you would be in favor of? Do you think this could be good, bad? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, what do you think about? I mean, we already have this, but what about Prompt 22? Why don't we just have all the states have that? I mean, I've seen, people do it and they get that separate pay. That should help out a pretty good bit, I would say. Why not Prop 22?
Well, I think some people's argument against it is there's an active time issue with it with some, but then also there's like the true independent contractors fall kind of to the wayside. People that aren't doing like food delivery and rideshare, they kind of don't see benefits from that. But I haven't. Listen, I've been to California 4 times. Not one person to my face has said that they don't like Prop 22. Not one.
Yeah, but Prop 22 isn't perfect either. Like Prop 22 was they cut a deal. Prop 22 was about, okay, do you guys want to be employees or do you want to be contractors? Because everybody was making a big deal about this. They all came together and they were like, all right, we want to be independent contractors. And they have something set up where it's like, all right, we're not going to have this discussion again. It was part of like the whole ruling and shit where it was like, all right, we're done. We're like, you guys are independent contractors. We're not going to, they don't have that much negotiating power. They're just like, all right, we're going to pay you at least $20 an hour for whatever active time you have. Like none of this is perfect or set in stone. And that could switch up at any point in time.
I just think it's just if we did have that, it's better than what we have now. I mean, it'd be you get a little extra money than what you're getting now. I mean,
I think what we need is we need to make the markets freer. We need more. We need people to have more ability to affect the market and not have three big megaliths. Like, no, it shouldn't be that way. This isn't. It doesn't work. It's not PSE&G and it's like three electric companies competing against each other, and they're not really competing. They work together to fight legislation and do all this stuff. It's not right, man. We need to have more underdog energy. This is America, dude. This is the United States of America. We're over here bitching and crying about a wage, bro.
But it's never going to
We
happen.
need competition.
You're never going to get that competition because you're trying to go up against
commissions, Roy. 30% commissions. You're not going to get competition. They're charging.
You're not getting competition,
bro.
You are, bro.
Who do you think?
You already have.
Excuse me. Bro, a
You're
fucking
not gonna
burrito is
get
like
competition.
$25 out here in the city, dog. Why do
You're
you think
not-
a burrito is
no, that's not what I'm
$25
talking
in the
about.
city?
Okay,
Why do you think
that's not what I'm talking about. You're talking
That's
about
what I'm
having
talking about.
You're talking about having other companies come in. You're not, because you got giants that already control majority of the market. You're trying to get this startup company to
Bro.
try to go up against somebody that's got 30, 40%.
I never said I was trying to, bro. Who the
Not gonna
hell said
happen.
I was trying to start up a company, dude? Nobody said that, dude. These apps
Well,
are
what do you
contingent.
mean by competition? You're making no sense then.
How am I
The
not
only way
making
you're
any
gonna,
sense, dude?
you're gonna get more competition is by other companies jumping on board with food delivery. That's the only way it's gonna work.
Other
that's not gonna happen.
big companies?
You're gonna have to have other companies that are gonna have to fucking fight for the market share that these big companies already have. And it's never gonna happen because these are household names that have been around for 10, 15 years. You're not gonna get Joe Blow's food delivery to stand up against Uber and DoorDash, which everybody has on their phone. Most phones come with these apps pre-installed.
Well, dude, bro,
So,
you're talking to an optimist. And if there's somebody out there that wants to come up with a solution, like I said before, man, these guys, the biggest issue is that these guys are market makers. Are you guys familiar with the stock market exchange? Do you know what a market maker is? You guys know what
Yes.
market makers are? Right. Bro, but what happens to market makers, bro? They get regulated, dude. They keep an eye on them. They can't just do whatever they want.
And it doesn't matter if you have 15 different food delivery companies. You're still going to get paid minimum.
Bro, it does. Dude, are you kidding me? Dude, no, it does, bro. How many Mexican restaurants are there in the city? Let's just say, how many different ways can you skin a cat?
It doesn't matter. You're still only going to make what the company.
All I know deep down in my soul is I feel some type of way when I order DoorDash. I feel some type of way when I order Uber Eats. When I need it or something, or I'm in a pinch or whatever, that goes in my mind. And I know that I'm not the only one that feels that way about this, because everybody knows that these companies are suspect. Everybody knows that, dude. The consumers know it. They don't know what to tip sometimes. There's this whole thing, this whole discussion about tips. Some people have completely gotten out of the discussion entirely, and they just don't tip at all, which I don't blame them, dude. I don't look at tips either. I look at dollar amounts anyways.
How are you trying to fight the system, but yet you're enjoying the?
Who said I'm not trying to fight the system, bro? I'm not trying to fight the system. I'm trying to have a conversation.
You are trying to fight the system.
I'm trying
You're trying to say you want more of this. You want more. You are, because you're saying you want more of this, more of that. You're the one ordering from Uber Eats and DoorDash. I don't fucking order from Uber Eats or DoorDash. Fuck that.
What do I want more of? But wait. Excuse me. What do I want more of?
You want more ways and more companies to make money. That's what you want, right?
I want more competition.
Okay, and the only way you're going to get competition is through other businesses. And like I said earlier, it's not going to happen when you have 2 giants, 3, 4 giants that control the market share of the companies that have been around for 10 years. It's not going to happen. And even if you had 35 other food delivery businesses, you're still going to get paid the minimum of jack shit that they want to pay you. So that doesn't mean you're going to make more money just because you have more companies willing to give you the ad. It's not going to happen. Just like DoorDash started.
Fellas, whether it's not, I'm an optimist, bro. And I think that dude, if you poke something one way, something's going to shoot out the other way. I'm an
I'm a
optimist and a
realist.
real. I could consider myself a realist too, because any sort of app or anything could get into the. They could compete with these companies and they could get the upper hand. They could, bro. It could
That's
happen.
that's
Especially
already been
especially if we
that's
stop
already
talking
been
about.
proven wrong.
Especially, excuse me, you're gonna like this actually. Especially if we stop talking about getting paid more and start talking about, hey man, this is a free market and you can't treat me like a fucking employee. You can't do it. It's illegal. You can't tell me to take orders. You can't tell me to do this. You can't tell me. And if I turn on my app and I'm on call, no matter what, whether it's on or off, and I'm not being paid, then there shouldn't be a scheduling system either. There shouldn't, because that's all they have leverage over. DoorDash has this. That's all they have leverage over. Oh well, you don't want to take this order. Well, guess what, bro? You can't schedule, dog. I don't know what to tell you. Or you can, and when you turn it on, you get whatever you get because everybody else is drinking the freaking orange juice, the Kool-Aid.
Well,
Everybody's on platinum,
AMC,
bro. That's really
AMC.
what's going on, bro. Really, what's going on is everybody's on platinum right now, and it's summertime, and every summer it's the same thing out here. It's $20 to $25, and you guys are lucky and should be grateful to be in a car while you're doing this. I'm not in the car, bro, and I'm pulling 60, 70,000 a year, bro. It's comical to see you fucking complain about this shit. To see all these YouTubers talk about this, man. It really is, man. Come join me in a storm out here, bro. I'm speaking
I
for
know.
the other
Well,
guys that are
that's a
out here that
different.
don't even know how to
That's a
speak
different.
English.
That's a different conversation, though. That's a different topic, right? But you talk about. Well, let's welcome Handsome Hustler. What's up, man? You
What up?
talk
What up? You can
about.
hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yo,
hear you
what's
just
good?
fine. You talk about free market. We do have. There's been apps over the last several years, smaller ones on a local level, that have started food delivery companies to be another option for some of the businesses so they don't have to take as much fees that DoorDash and Uber and Grubhub charge, right? But they can only do so much of they're putting a very small dent. They're just basically local delivery companies. And there's dozens of them around the country. But DoorDash has, they're at like 67% market share. So you can't fight that in the free marketplace, right? You could only do something locally for a small city and maybe 20, 30 restaurants, but DoorDash is going to continue to grow. So the market's already been set by the big players. There's not going to be
And,
anybody else big coming in. They're buying.
and
They're,
we've al-
they're
and we've already seen it with rideshare companies that have tried to jump in the mix, and they've done absolutely jack shit. They've been able to do jack shit because, like I said, you're dealing with household names. It's like when you go buy toilet paper, you got your favorites, Angel Soft or whatever toilet paper. It's a name that people recognize. People ain't
Bro,
gonna recognize
dude,
Joe Blow.
I'm just trying to skew the conversation, bro, because I'd be fucking damned if I walk into City Hall and ask for a $20 minimum wage. I'd be damned before I do that. I
Yeah,
mean,
but there's a lot. There's a
granted, I could find a job doing so. Like, dude, I'm an eloquently spoken person. I could probably go somewhere and find a job and have something decent. I could probably work from home. I could probably do that. I could probably do something else with my life. I mean, and this is an ongoing discussion with a lot of delivery drivers. Like, oh, this isn't a real job. This isn't something real that you can actually sustainably make money or whatever the case is. And I know that bothers you guys too. And I think it's part of the big problem. Like the fact that we don't have a negotiating power whatsoever. These guys just, yo, you want to get good orders, you got to be platinum. Yo, you want to get a schedule, you got to do this. Oh, you want to get the hidden tips, you got to do this. Like, dude, no, no, no. You shouldn't incline and force me to take orders I don't want to take, bro.
They
Nobody
don't
should.
force you. You have the ability to decline orders. They're not forcing you to do anything.
I mean, bro, you haven't been on platinum in a hot minute, dude. The reason why everybody's
I
crying on YouTube, bro, because this is what happens every summer. But the thing is everybody caught on, like, oh, I gotta get on platinum. I gotta do the shopping page. They took all my shopping page
here,
away
here,
this
here,
summer.
say, but hold on, AMC. You say you want competition, but then you don't like the competition from your fellow drivers.
I don't, bro. When did I bring up the fellow drivers?
Well, you're
What
talking about platinum.
I
You're
want to see
talking
them
about
move around.
you're up against all these
Oh
other
shit!
drivers.
Sorry, this guy just made. Yo, wrong turn, bro.
You're
Hold
saying
on.
you're up
What'd you
against
say?
other drivers in your marketplace, but that's competition. That's the free market that you're talking about.
Yeah, but dude, like, we're fighting for stats. Like, we're fighting. Like, who could take the shitty orders, the shittiest order to maintain a schedule, bro? Like this is like a snake eating its tail. I mean, the majority of this is a snake eating its tail because when rideshare dies off, where do you think all those drivers are gonna go? They're gonna come here, bro. They're gonna come to DoorDash. They're gonna come here, Instacart, all that stuff, dude. And it's happening, bro. They got Waymos out here already, bro. I'm not. There's no way, dude. I can't even. I can't even look at myself in the mirror and be mad. Like, oh man, like they got a clicker at ShopRite. I can't freaking get an order. No, dude. No, no, no. Move around, bro. Take another one. Get on another app, bro. This is a game. This is a fucking casino. You got to play into it, right? Like, I don't think about these other guys out here, but when New York talks about a minimum wage and we're going to talk about like, oh, well, you know, they're not really getting paid for their time when they're hanging out outside, bullshitting with all their other friends. And we want to make sure that they're making enough money to get paid on not being on time and being on active time. When we're talking about that, then I want to talk about like, yo, bro, but the accounts aren't right. The accounts aren't legit. I'm in a group chat right now with a bunch of, you know, bro, we're talking about Dominicans, Venezuelans, you know, like Hispanas, right? Whatever. Bro, these guys go back and forth about like, yo, who has an account? Who has an account? Who has an account? And bro, these corporations capitalize on that shit, man. You think they don't? Of course I would. I don't
Of
blame
course they
them.
do. Paul, welcome to the show.
I
Paul,
don't
what do you
blame them.
have to?
But
Hey,
if somebody
how
swings
you
by
doing?
and they're like, if somebody comes by and they're like, bro, if you're playing games, we're gonna audit you. We got workers to pay. And here in New Jersey,
No,
what they're doing, it's interesting that Roy brought up New Jersey because what's happening in New Jersey is Democrats are fighting for Democrats, not what they fucking saying what they're doing. They're not fighting for us. They're not fighting for workers or whatever the hell they want to say they're fighting for. They're fighting for other Democrats because this ABC test thing, I've looked into it, and what's going on is they want to have a good jobs report when they have this Republican federation going on right now. They want to get in front of a camera and they want to be like, look at our jobs report. They want to
Well,
force people into getting jobs.
that's part of the issue is I think we have
Right,
to
dude,
if
bro.
we're gonna line ourselves up with politicians, there's gonna be that hole is gonna get
It's not
muddy
gonna
and
work.
deep. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. That's what I was saying earlier. Paul, how you
I'd
doing,
rather
sir?
I'd rather
oh,
fight
pretty good.
for more freedom. I'd rather
Um,
fight for more freedom, fight for more free access, fight for what fucking Milton Friedman told us was truth, and not let a government tell me how much I'm worth an hour. Fuck that, dude. Let the free market decide what I'm worth an hour, bro. Not you. Not
All
you
right,
and not you
Paul. Let's
DoorDash either.
Paul, what do you have to bring to the conversation, my friend?
well, I have a little bit different take on. Well, I have a different experience than most of these guys. I'm a part-time dasher,
Okay. I'd
and I've
love to hear
seen.
your perspective. Go ahead.
Well, I definitely have said in your chat earlier. It's an easier. The part-time drivers, I think, have an easier time of it and a better experience.
Hell
And
yeah.
I also have some experience with the transparency because I kind of like what Colorado did with it.
What do you like about it?
Well, for one thing, we have a little more protection against deactivation. They actually have to review it before they deactivate us.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an option to appeal through the state. And they actually have to tell us, give us a reason why they deactivated us, rather than something vague like we detected fraudulent activity, and then that's all you ever get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
heard
do you
that, and I
guys
think
have it?
that's hold on, AMC. I
Go
think Paul,
ahead.
I think that's really good. If you have human eyeballs looking at something that's impacting the way that you earn money, right? I think that's fantastic. I think that that's what we need because the AI, man, the AI generated stuff that just automatically deactivates somebody because a customer said something or a merchant said something, and taking somebody's way to earn just under from them like that without having a human look at it. It's crazy. I mean, I get it. All these companies are using AI. It's going to get stronger and more prevalent, right? Because it's easy for the company. But I think that part of that bill or whatever it's called out there, I think that's really good. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad to hear that they have something like that. I
Yeah,
think
and
that
then
is
we
yeah,
also
yeah.
see
Wait,
the
Paul,
full total when they send us the offer. We see the full total, and also in the
Paul.
rare times, yeah,
I got a question, man. Do you guys have tier systems? Are you able to see acceptance rate? Because I heard otherwise. I heard that you can't get punished by acceptance rates, or is that wrong? Is that bullshit?
I think that may be coming down the pike, but I don't think
Oh,
that's
it's
the
not there
case
yet. I
yet.
got you. I
Yeah, we
got you.
Mm.
still have a tier system, and I'm a gold tier driver.
Yeah,
Got you. Okay.
there's still ratings and rankings and stuff. Let's
Yeah,
welcome
Yeah.
Healthy Pathway to the show. Healthy, how are you, man?
What's up, y'all? What's
yeah.
up? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you loud and clear. What do you got on your mind tonight?
Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. What y'all asking for, you really don't want. Hey, you see the headset? You see the headset? I'm
Tell
a
me
truck
more.
driver.
Tell me more. Tell me
I'm
more.
a truck driver.
Okay.
Y'all screaming about this independent contractor shit. I'm telling you right now. The more you ask the government for help, the more restrictions are coming behind it. You do
Let's go,
not want
baby.
that. You don't want it. I'm telling you
Yeah.
right now, you don't want it. Truck driving, now we got front facing cameras in the truck. We got cameras facing the roads. They can hear us when we drive down the roads. We can't wear a headset, all because these guys are asking for more money. More.
That's
You
all it
don't
is.
want that.
Yeah, bro.
You don't
Yeah,
want that.
yeah.
I'm
Dude,
telling you.
find another job. You can
It's a
make money.
dog eat dog world. First come, first serve. You got to
Yes,
go out there and
sir.
get
Yes,
it.
sir.
You
Red,
got
white,
to
and
learn
blue.
how to
Dog
get
eat
it.
dog, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't be asking for this. Oh, I want a car. I want base pay. I want this. I want that. Listen, I was that same guy. My acceptance rate was 20%, but I figured out how to work the algo. I literally had the same customers every day, every week, every day, every week. My pay is the same every day, every week. So to sit here and say that we want this regulated, we want base pay. Let me tell you something. You keep pushing for that base pay, there's gonna be more requirements, more restrictions. Oh, is your license this? You got to have this on your license. You got to have this bag. You got to have this. You got to have that. You don't want that. And then most of us not even making over 50, 60K a year to be screaming about some IC. You don't want that. That's more taxes. That's more feds in your taxes. All kind of shit. You do not want this stuff. I'm telling you, it's a free world right now. Dog eat dog. It's a food chain. Do what you're supposed to do, and you will make it. You'll be just fine. But if you keep pushing for these people to come in here to regulate this pay, I guarantee you be crying. You won't be smiling. You'll be crying later. I guarantee you're gonna be crying later. That's 100% fact.
Let me ask you a follow up.
Go ahead.
So I'm with the dog eat dog. You know what I mean? Because I personally can figure it out. I'm not worried necessarily about
Right.
how I'm gonna earn. But what do you say to the dogs getting eaten? Like, do we just dismiss them, or do we need something for those individuals, or do we just say, hey, that's how it is?
Like in trucking, you got good years and you got bad years. The ones who make it through the bad years, we keep going. The ones who fall off, go find something else to do. Simple as that. Go find something else to do. And then you sitting over here, we sitting here complaining about apps, these gig apps. This is the easiest app, the easiest job, no background, really background checks, stuff that you can do.
True.
Like this is easy, and we're still begging for more and more and more. You do not want more. I promise you don't want more. If you figured out your bills and what you make, then let's say for instance, the app gives you $100 a day. Once you hit that 100, go to another app. You sitting there complaining, oh, I'm getting $2 orders, or I'm getting $3 orders for 10, 20 miles. Well, bro, you done exhausted the app. You done got what you got out of the app. So now it's time to go to another one to figure out something else. You got to
but
keep
you got to
going.
remember, a lot of this is all market dependent too. It's easy to say that if you live in a good market. But you live in
look, I don't even live in the good market. I live in a rural area. I'm sitting here telling you, I'm a trader. First of all, I trade stocks, futures, so I think different. You have to think different. You have to strategize, top down analysis. You got to strategize. You can't sit here and say, because I stay here, it's not going to work. Because they stay in this city, it's not going to work. All across America, it's all literally the same. The food prices might be high in your area, and they might pay a little more. But at the end of the day, it's going to level out. I promise you. I've been to 48 states, bro. I've been all over. I'm sitting here telling you, it's all across the board the same everywhere. You got to make it work for you. Stop worrying about what the next person is making. And if you have a bad day, so what? Everybody gonna have a bad day. What you gonna do the next day? How you gonna do better the next day?
Yeah, but there's a lot of things you also got, but there's a lot of things you also got to look into it. You got to look into the quality of life. There's a lot of things. Yeah, you can, let's say you can make 150, but do you want to do it in 16 hours? No, you got families, you got stuff. There are reasons. I understand why people are begging for money, because they're unable to make it work for them for the amount of time that they want to do it. That's why I look at it. They want 8 hours.
You know what I say to that?
Well,
we have food stamps. We got Medicaid. We got all this other stuff that people can go get and get. You know what I'm saying? It's other ways to go get stuff.
Help.
It's other ways to go get stuff. It literally
but we
is.
still gotta look at quality of life. And,
Quality.
16 hours.
Look, I understand that. You talking about 16 hours, bro? Sometimes I work 80, 100, 120 hours. You know what I'm saying? I still gotta get home and be a dad. I still gotta feed my kids. I still gotta love my woman. I still gotta rub her feet. I still gotta rub her back. I gotta do all that. You gotta do all that, man. You gotta keep going. You cannot let these apps dictate who you are. These
apps dictate who you are. You're a fucking employee. In my opinion, you're an independent employee.
That's the mindset.
No, it's not a mindset. It's the truth. If you you tell me what's different from that app than my W-2. They make you schedule. They make you schedule just like I have a schedule.
Right.
They dictate your pay. They dictate how many deliveries they want to give you. Remember, they're the ones giving you the orders. If they don't want to give you orders, they do it. Same way I am giving orders. Do my job.
Let me ask you this.
There's no difference.
How many times have you went and went through all your orders and studied the algorithm? How many times?
I don't even do gig apps.
How many times have you did that? That's what I'm saying. That's another way. How many times?
I know how to work. I know how to work my market. I have no issues. I'm not the one that is bitching and complaining. I'm against the apps. I'm totally against the apps myself. So
can I chime in here? Can I chime in here?
Welcome to the show, man. What do you got in your mind?
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Now listen, my outlook on this is a little bit different. Okay. I DoorDash and I only DoorDash. I don't do any other apps. I don't double app. I don't do any of that. I make $4,800 a month. I just support myself. I'm in my 1-bedroom apartment now. I support all my bills on DoorDash. Now, according to what everyone is saying, it's true. It's market dependent, but you also have to go at this at a business mindset. You are an independent contractor. You cannot come at this like you are working at a job. You have to go at this like you have your own business. The same hours people put in at their own business, you have to put in at this thing too. You cannot go at this. Most jobs have 7 days a week. They work you 5, but the job is open 7 days a week. You understand? You guys got to understand that. You cannot, this is not a W-2. You are working independently. So you have to figure it out for yourself. In my market, the hourly pay, what they give you is $13.25. I will never touch that. Okay. I make $150 to $200 a week, and I work 12 hours a day. I work breakfast and lunch together. I come off 2 hours and I work the dinner time. These are the most profitable hours I do every day. Now, I am a platinum dasher and I am a pro shopper, and I went through the steps, but I had to learn my market. I went through a lot. I'm not going to lie. It took me about a year to learn all the markets and learn where to be, but it's going to take that. If you look at this, if you look at it from a business mindset, most businesses don't get off the ground until 5 years. You guys got to understand that this is like a business. It's a slow rolling thing. You save your money. Yes, it's the same thing like starting your own business. You do not make profits right away on your own business. It takes a lot of grinding to start making money. You have to pay bills. I even went into my 401k to make this work. So what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is you cannot be asking for those things. They are going to try to control you the more we ask. The more we ask, we're going to become workers. And I don't want that. I love the independence. I love to come off when I want to. Yes, I have bad days. Today was a slow day. I made 140. But yes, I came off. I came off at 8. I'm fine. Tomorrow's Monday. I'm going to go out, make the same money. I work 7 days a week. You guys understand? I was working at a forklift company right two and a half months ago. And I was making 25 when I was making $20 an hour. Overtime was $28 an hour. I quit that job. I was working for them 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. And when I came off, I was BSing with this DoorDash thing. And then I realized, I said, wait, I was just giving those people 6 days a week, 13 hours a day, 72 hours a week. And I couldn't do it for myself. When I did that, when I put that same effort into this, that's when I started making $200 a day. So we got to understand that you got to be consistent. I go on every day, 7 o'clock, every day, like a regular job. I'm never late. I go on this thing. I come off 2 o'clock every day. You have to go at this seriously.
So tell me what happens when DoorDash hits that button and you ain't working no more.
Then you go to another app. You go
Let
do
me
something else. You save
let,
your money and you figure it out another way.
let
It's
me
the
ask
same
y'all
thing for
this.
any bit. Your business flops, it's the same thing.
How many of y'all have filed taxes as an independent contractor? Any of y'all? Anybody?
Oh, I have.
Okay, so
I
Yeah,
y'all
I've
see where
had
haven't.
I'm
the
coming
filing
from.
I haven't.
explained.
I haven't.
You're throwing the term independent contractor around a little bit too loosely. Independent contractor, man, you got to file your clothes you buy, the foods you eat, who worked on your car, how many hours you worked. They want to know every single thing, bro. You do not want to do that. If you miss on your receipts and they come back and audit you, your ass is fried. This right here is easy. This is easy work right here. Only thing you're doing is selecting no or yes and going to take a trip and pick up an order. If you can't do that and you're complaining about this, then you might need to go do something else or work for somebody that can handle that for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Simple.
That's how I
You do
feel.
not all this regulation stuff and begging the government to get in. Look, truck drivers,
Yes. I don't.
we've been begging for fucking years for the government to get in because the brokers are so-called ripping us off. That shit is not going to work. It's just not going to work. It's going to have more regulations, more rules, more laws. Who can work? Who can do this? What type of phone you gotta have?
Yep.
What kind of
Yep.
service you gotta have? It's
We're
gonna
gonna
have
have more
all that shit.
control.
You don't
We're
want
gonna have
none
more
of that.
control.
You do not want none of that. I promise you.
You
If you
don't.
take your time, I mean, and another thing, how many of y'all research on what America's eating?
This is that noise.
Does anybody do that? What's the American family eating? Who has the most deals? Are y'all in
Well,
those areas near those
somebody's got some
stores?
feedback. Hold on. Somebody's got some. There's a lot of crackling going on. Hold on a second. Okay, go ahead, Healthy.
Yeah, are y'all researching that? What America's eating? Little Caesars, Burger King, McDonald's, who got the deals?
Oh,
Are y'all
trash.
riding in?
We eat trash here. Yeah.
No, I'm saying, are y'all riding in those areas trying to get? Oh, there we go again. Somebody's stuff is crackling.
It might be you.
Is it me?
Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
It can't be me.
Ooh,
Is it me?
I don't know. It might be. I don't know. Maybe it's Paul. I don't know.
fix something real quick.
But yeah, I think I hear what you guys are saying. I'm picking it up because that's how I look at it. I treat it as close to like my own business as possible, but also
Yes.
realizing that I'm using somebody else's software to make money. That's what it is,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
I'm using somebody else. I'm a third party. Like I'm like a what do you call it? Subcontractor is how I look at myself when I'm working food delivery, right? Because they get the initial contract, they send it out. Sometimes it's exclusive to me, sometimes it's not. I decide yes or no, and I give those companies, those apps, a set amount of time per day, and I can hustle my way through it, and it's fine, right? But I think that I don't want government, politicians, legislation. I don't want too much of it, but I do think there are some things that should be put in place as oversight to hold the companies responsible for some of the bad things they're doing. Because I do
Exactly.
think in some industries, and I'll include this one, if we just let these big businesses run wild and then
We'll be
dog eat
working for
dog,
tips.
it can get a little hairy for the majority of people, right? So I'm kind of in the middle. I don't know how to, I think situationally we have to insert our voices. But I do think sometimes if the voices that are the loudest are the wrong ones, that's where we fuck ourselves over, in my opinion.
Agree.
You know what
Oh,
I'm
hey,
saying? I
that
think we
reminds
still have to have a voice because this
that
country is
reminds
built on that. If we
that
just shut
reminds
up
me.
and say that is what it is, dog eat dog, like a lot of
Yeah.
people, like it's gonna it gets really really hairy for us. You know what I mean? So I think we have to continue to fight for things that are just fair. I don't expect. Listen, this is food delivery. The barrier to entry is easy and it's very low. Okay, I don't want crazy base pay. I don't want I don't expect to make $40 an hour doing this on average. Like that's
No.
asking too much. Okay, I don't want all of us to make the same. I want competition. I want to know my market and have a level of skill that maybe most don't, and that makes me an
Exactly.
extra $10 an hour,
Exactly.
right? So that can be true, right? But two things can be true at the same time because if we allow these companies to continue to have everybody come on with everybody's fake account, everybody's this, everybody's that, pay you $1 per order, you know what I mean? Like lie about all this stuff, lie to consumers, steal money, and they're stealing money. Every single gig app is stealing base pay and skimming some of the tips, bro. All of them are doing it. And
Yes,
if
you
they
we
know
are.
what's
just
gonna come next?
if we allow that, if we allow them to get away with it, it's to me that's not okay, right?
You know what's
Because
gonna
then
come
they're
next?
go ahead. What?
It's gonna be drones. It's gonna be self-driving cars.
Oh
And
well,
People
that's
doing
what I
that's
was just
happening
getting
everything.
at. at.
already. That's
That's
happening
All
what
that
I
already.
was
other
getting
stuff.
at.
That's what's gonna come next if you
It's
keep
soon
begging.
it's gonna replace us. We're not gonna be a lot of us. It's not gonna be a lot of us. It'll be lesser of us.
Yeah, we're
That's
still, but hey guys, we're in order for that to impact a lot of us, we're 10 or 15 years away from that really impacting the majority of drivers.
I'll say five.
You
I
say
5
say
five?
years.
five
I think
too.
I
it's
say
more 10 to
five.
15,
I
but
say five
Like
because they want to make money. Because they want to make money. Because they want to
technology
make
is
money.
changing. It's AI. That's like the trucking company. I might haul a load, and that load may be worth $100,000. Do you think they paying me $10,000 to haul that load? They're not.
no, no.
They're not. So for these drivers to sit here and say, "Oh, well, I think I should be getting this because the order was this much," man, you're crazy. You're tripping. We beg for so much in trucking. Now they got self-driving trucks. That's coming out. People don't even know
Mm.
about that. Like
Yeah.
y'all are barking up the wrong tree. I
So what do we?
promise you.
Okay, then let me ask you guys this, and I want to start. I want to get Mike's perspective, Paul, and then I'll bring it down to you guys at the bottom because I want to get their voices heard too. So if we're asking for too much, and I understand it, right? What are some of the appropriate things as ICs that we should be asking for, or do we ask for nothing? Paul or Mike, I'll start with you and then go to Paul.
Well, I mean, I think that we should ask at least, you know, having these companies like, kind of, they're skimming the money and stuff like that. Like I did a delivered order yesterday, and I got the receipt from Easy Cater. I looked at it, I was like, oh, I'm getting paid $30 for this delivery. But when I look at the receipt, I'm supposed to get paid 60 for, it's the whole delivery fee. So delivered is taking half of my delivery, which, kind of sucks. I wish there'd be something done, at least that we should get full, pay for what we do at least, instead of having these companies just, we'll give you whatever we think we're going to give you, and then I get questioned from other customers like, oh, well, you should be getting a higher tip, and I'm like, no, I'm really not getting a higher tip. Like, I even show some of these customers. So I think at least we should get, at least paid fairly from these companies. But if that's going to happen, probably not. Maybe if they get sued enough, I guess, maybe, or, but eventually I'm thinking somebody's going to probably step in and there's going to be some type of legal action against these companies. But yet again, it could make it all worse for us. Only time will tell, to be honest.
True. Paul, what do you say? What do you think? Is there are there any things that we should be vocalizing that we feel we have a right to or deserve? Whether it's like what Mike is saying. Hey, if a customer tipped $100 and the app is telling 100% of tips go to driver, but we only get half of it sometimes. Like, I get that. I think that's messed up, right? Because you're telling the customer one thing, but you're doing something else, right? I get it. It's their business and it's their money, but you're painting a picture that's not true, right? The illusion's not there. It's smoke and mirrors. So, Paul, like, are there any things that you think we should be asking for, or do we just leave it alone altogether and then just let the chips fall where they may?
Well, I'd like to see transparency.
Okay.
So we get to see the full terms and conditions of the order. Where's it picking up from? Where's it going? How much is it paying? I'd also like to see make sure that the independence is actually being respected. I get the impression that they are trying to pay us like independent contractors and control us like employees,
Yes.
with possibly the exception that we have the ability to come and go as we come onto the app and leave the app as we want.
Exactly.
And then some
You have
and some clarity and a clearly defined deactivation policy,
Exactly.
and some human to actually look at it, and some government and some way of appealing it rather than going to costly arbitration.
you have absolutely there's zero right to ask for anything. You signed up for these companies to be your own independent person, your own business owner. You have to go by their
I
rules.
expect them to
So
honor their
you
own
have the right to
contract.
ask them nothing. You have the right to ask them nothing. They dictate to you. You signed up for them. They dictate, not you. And that's what that's what most of these independent employees don't understand. They don't have to do anything for you. You signed up for them. They dictate. You sign the terms of service that dictates whatever they want from you is what you'll do. And if you don't like it, move the fuck on, because you have no right to ask them
honor
anything.
their
Just
own
like,
contract, though, and they don't.
say what?
I expect them to at least abide by their own terms of contract, of service,
What
and I'm
terms?
not convinced that they do.
What terms that they don't stand by? If I turn on DoorDash right now and I get an order, it tells me where it's going. It shows me a map. It shows me the pay they're willing to give me. If I get anything extra, whatever. But I'm still only going to take that order based on what I see. So even if it has a hidden tip, I'm still going to take it on basis. Me seeing everything in that order doesn't dictate anything to me. I don't care what the customer paid. If the customer paid $45 for the pizza, why do I give a fuck? If I'm getting paid $8 for 2 miles, that's what I care about. I don't give a shit what they paid DoorDash for the pizza. So all this transparency, it means nothing, because the point of it is you guys want more money, and you're not going to get more money with transparency. All transparency is opening you up for is more legislation from the next group to say, okay, now I want this. So I'm going to get a group of people together, and now we're going to get this. And you're going to legislate yourselves into a W-2 platform, and you're not going to want that. And that's what's going to happen.
Transparency, I can make better decisions. But I have more information and can make better decisions.
Okay. How does seeing what the customer paid dictate you're making a better decision on picking up the order? If okay, let's do it this way. Let's put it this way. I get an order, says $8 for 2 miles. You get the same order that says 2 miles, $8. What is seeing what the customer paid? How does that make a difference in whether or not you take that order versus I take that order?
On that one, it doesn't. But if the customer actually paid, if the order is actually paying 15 and you're showing 8, you may not take it, and I may well, because you might have a 5 mile for $8 order. You don't want to take it. If I'm seeing it at $15, I take it, and I will also note that earned by time they are showing us.
But how long have you been doing DoorDash? You've been taking the orders without seeing everything. So how did you base your being able to take an order based on not seeing it before? You had
what I saw.
Exactly, based on what you saw. So it didn't matter whether or not you saw everything. You still base it. Okay, I'm going 2 miles for $8, right?
Now I see the true picture.
For me, it's not so much as transparency. It's more back to that deactivation and these violations. I feel as though we're getting violations and deactivations falsely. We're being allowed to be taken advantage of by customers, and we're like the middleman, and we get blamed for everything. That's the only problem I have. That's the biggest problem I have with these apps. It's almost like Amazon. How Amazon can deliver something to your house, and you can say, "Oh, I didn't get it," and Amazon just send you another one. Well, they do that with us with the food. And my girlfriend does it. She orders the food, and every time she get the food, she says she didn't get it, or she says something wrong so she can get her money back or get the credit. She does that every time. And DoorDash does not. DoorDash does not take her off the platform or anything. She just keeps doing it. That's nonsense to me.
I'm gonna say this, man. I've been dealing with it in trucking. It's a new topic for the gig world. I'm gonna say it like this: even if you get a class action lawsuit going, the lawyer gonna get the most money.
True.
We as drivers ain't getting shit. The lawyers gonna get the most money. They might change the rules up for you. They might do a little bit for you. But I'm telling you right now, and I'm gonna say it my last time: you do not want them in your business.
You don't. You don't
want them in your business.
No, you don't.
The only thing that I would say they do need to change is like when you're doing multi-stop orders and then they throw that shit on you. You got another order that you don't even want to take, or you don't want to decline because you don't want your rating that might go down.
Exactly.
And that shit right there, that's a little sneak play that they keep throwing in there. Like I say that they gotta get rid of some shit like that. But the transparency thing that you're saying, like, man, as an owner operator, the same shit that you're talking about. Truck drivers been arguing about the same shit for years. The brokers, we want to see what you got before you give it to us. We want to see this. We want to see that. It's not going to happen. Like I said in the comments, If you're not in the meeting with the CEOs, don't stress yourself out talking about what you should get paid, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
as
not
far
going
as deactivations go, you signed up for a he said she said situation. That's what you signed up for.
Right.
You have less protections doing DoorDash than I do at my W-2. At least I have protections with my W-2. You don't on DoorDash. It's a he said she said situation, and that's what's fucked up. And it doesn't matter how they try to do that. You got to prove that they're lying. And how are you doing that? A human can't.
That's my point. There's no platform for us to prove ourselves.
No
if it's
way
not in
of
black
doing
and
it.
white writing, and you didn't sign it, and they didn't sign it, the shit don't even matter. It didn't even happen.
Yeah,
Nothing
it's all a
even
he said she said
happened. It's all
basis.
he
And
said, she said. It's gonna be like that forever.
exactly.
Because my volume of deliveries are very high. I do about 500, 600 deliveries a month. And by that happening, my violations come a little bit more often than normal, because that's why I have to stay out of certain areas. I'm not going to go there, because I don't want to get certain problems, because people will smile in your face and give you a violation behind your back.
Hey, listen, I gotta ask you a question. Did your girlfriend give you one of the violations? Did you order? You dropped it off, and she said she didn't
I like that. No, but honestly, so right now I'm dealing with a violation. I wipe violations off in 3 to 4 days, because I do 20 to 21 deliveries a day. And like the gentleman over there, I don't know what his name is, but he was saying it. You have to study. This is not something you're just going out here. You have to study your market, study what you're doing. It takes a lot. If people are out here and they're thinking this is just some cakewalk, and it's not. You have to remember things. You have to do a lot of adding and subtracting when you're out there. I have methods that I use. Like you said, I like what he's saying, that make me a little bit above the other people, because I know what I'm doing. If the app gives me 2 good orders and then it throws me a bad one, I'll do that bad one because I'm already up. I'm not trying to stay up. Everyone wants to stay up. It don't work like that. Even when let's say these businesses, and when you go talk to the businesses, every day they don't make good money every day of the week. And all the stores that we work at, their money fluctuate just like ours. It's the food market. We make it's the same way they make money.
Ask them when they busy.
And as far as when it comes to rideshare, for example, the he said she said, that becomes a company liability. Because if a woman says this guy groped me, did this, did that, they have no choice but to deactivate you, whether you did it or not. Because if they say, well, maybe she's lying, we'll reactivate him, and he does something worse to the next customer, you're opening up for liability. So it's unfortunate. Like I said, it's a he said, she said, and at that point, you're screwed at that point, because that's all it takes.
I don't do rideshare.
And having humans dictate, well, maybe she lied, so we'll go ahead and put him back on. You still fall into that liability where the company reactivates you because this board said, okay, yeah, reactivate him. And then he does something worse. Now you're putting yourself at risk of being sued, as well as the company, because you dictated that they be put back on the app. So not only did you just put Uber at responsibility, you put yourself at responsibility. So that's more.
I think the worst thing is with these apps and all of them is these ratings. That's fucking with people's heads.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want to ask you guys a question. Back? Hold up. Go ahead and finish your thought, but I got a follow up to that. Go ahead. Talk about what the ratings.
I think the ratings are fucking with people's heads, because you think that if you're not gold or you're not silver or you're not platinum, that you can't make the amount of money that you need to make. So it puts more stress on you to make a decision on what order that you want to take. And it's really not even about that. Some days I'm silver, some days I'm gold, some days I'm platinum. You understand what I'm saying? But I have a strategy, areas on how to work this shit. And that way I keep rolling and I keep getting my same amount of money every day. I don't give a fuck about silver, platinum, or gold. The perks really not even there, if you want me to be honest. The perks are not even there. You know what I'm saying? Like you sitting here, oh, if I get platinum, I'm gonna get bigger orders. You're not. You're gonna get the same shit like you was if you was silver. You're gonna get the same thing like you was if you was gold. But if you know how to work the app and work the algorithm, then you don't have to worry about them problems. That's That's the
So
And
let
biggest
it
me.
thing that a lot
takes
of people do.
and
I'm
it
gonna ask
The
you.
takes
work.
time. It takes time for you to learn that. People don't understand. You're not gonna go out there in 2 months and learn that. You're gonna have to get bad orders. You're gonna have to go to the same area. When you're getting these bad, when you're coming up, when you're working these apps, when you're coming up and you're working, pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention. Like I did. When I go in a certain area, I get a $3 order, $4 order, $3. I say, oh, I gotta move. That's not where I want to be. That's how it goes. You go to it. He's right. You gotta learn how to work the algorithm, and it
Yeah.
takes time, and you have to pay attention, study, watch what you're doing.
So let me. I'm gonna.
You
I'm
know
gonna.
what?
I'm gonna ask you guys a question. We'll start with the guys on the top, then we'll go to you guys. You know, give me a minute or so answer, because I got an unpopular opinion. Because I don't like that the companies have the AR stuff and they play the games, and it matters. It doesn't matter on this app. There's benefits. There's not benefits. Priority access, exclusive offers, whatever words they want to call it. Right? It's all what it's. It's up to you and how you want to look at that. It's personalized. We're independent contractors. If it matters to you, great. If you see benefits, great. If you don't, then don't do it. Right? But there are a lot of people, maybe even some in the chat. I want to hear you guys, your opinions in the chat as well. There are some people that think all the metrics should go away. I think Roy's one of those people. He's like, no, I don't want no metrics, no metrics, no metrics. And I, on this show, and I've talked to Roy about it, we need some metrics because we can't have a free market, competition, independent, and then not have ratings or something. Because I'll tell you this right now. We try to compare ourselves to ICs. Well, if you're a real IC, I wouldn't see this or they wouldn't treat me this way. Let me tell you something. If you're an independent contractor and you got your own business, you're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're this, you're that, and you get your business from Craigslist, Angie's List, you get this, you're being rated, whether it's a 5-star Google review, whether it's whatever. Every independent contractor in some level is getting rated. So I don't know why some of us feel some kind of way about these companies having metrics. I don't have an issue with it because I'll tell you this, if we're talking competition and setting ourselves apart, that's how you can do it. Now, I don't like the AR stuff. However, my customer rating's always high. My on time's good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, we can't just get rid of all of them. I think that's ridiculous. I think if we just base it on proximity, whoever's closest to the restaurant, that is asinine. Because then we're going to have everybody just parked in one spot. Like, it makes no sense. We have to have, the companies have to have a level of competition built in. Okay. Like, if I'm doing a lot of Instacart, if I'm a bad shopper and I'm picking bad produce, damaged stuff, expired stuff, I should not get or I shouldn't get good batches from customers tipping really well because my shopping is shit, right? And I get some customers are going to maybe falsify, but most people don't do that.
No,
Okay,
they don't.
most do
No, they
not.
don't.
Okay,
No, they don't.
so anybody, in my opinion, I'll start with Mike and go to Paul. Do you guys think the ratings should just go away? Because I think that's ridiculous. That's my opinion on it. Maybe it's unpopular. I think we need to have some in there. I'm not talking AR. Okay, that shouldn't matter. But the other ones, we need to have those. That's my opinion. I'll start with Mike.
Well, I think that there should be some, yes. Like, if I'm doing everything on the app, like I'm doing the orders, I'm on time, so on and so forth, I think I should get rewarded to get, better offers. I'd say before Delivered had all their tier system stuff, it was all right, and now they have that tier system, which is okay. That I'm at about on everything. I have all the emeralds. I'm pretty much at 95% on it. What I like about it is that if they send you an order, you decline, you don't get punished for it. I mean, that's great. Like my ratings, they don't drop or anything like that. I think that you should have, decision making on the orders that you get. And I also, like I said, I do cargo van orders. I don't get penalized if I, don't decline an order. It's like, okay, it's a little bit too far. And the pay, yeah, I was like, no, I'll just, pick up a different one. I don't get penalized for that either, and I'm on time with those orders, this and that. So I get sent decent offers. I think at least to have that type of metric, as long as you're doing the job just like you do every other job and you're a decent worker, I think that you should get paid a little bit better. Pretty much simple as that, to be honest.
Paul, what about you?
Yeah, I think the customer rating needs to be there, and probably the completion. One thing I'd like to see would be to have the ability to rate the customers and merchants and be shown what those ratings are when we're presented with an order. So we can choose, kind of like Uber does with their on the rideshare side.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that a lot of orders have been declined on the rideshare side because somebody's been presented with a 3.7 customer and
Right.
they
Yeah,
don't
I
want to
would.
deal with it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't take that. Yeah, I think we got to remember. I'll get with healthy next, real talk, and in mind. There's rating systems in in most aspects of our lives. I want you to think about that. We rate people, we give likes, we give dislikes, we rate restaurants. You know, our kids are being rated at school. There's a level to everything. That's like we need to have that. It builds character, you know. So I think anybody that's like all the ratings should go away, like there's got to at least be customer ratings. I think Bobby's talking about customer ratings, right? We can't have things just like proximity based only. There has to be a level of um, um, difference.
Professionalism.
I
Yeah.
mean, there has to be something, and
Professionalism.
maybe this is an
Yeah.
unpopular opinion. I don't know, but
You ever get
healthy.
the feeling
What do
that
you
we're
say?
the only ones being rated?
I'm not saying that it shouldn't be ratings. I'm saying don't let the ratings play with how your mindset and how you work the algorithm. So for
Mm,
instance, I'm a 5-star. I got a 5-star customer rating. I've been had that shit 6-7 months. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, again, work the algorithm. If these customers are rating me 5-star, okay, I might be at the top of the line for the highest paying order. Or the customer that rated me 5-star, guess what? I'm going back to their house over and over and over and over again because I kept my rating at a top level of professionalism. I smell good. I smile. I talk to them when I deliver the orders. I'm good.
Professionalism.
I pick the right food when I shop. All that stuff accounts into what you're going to get out this app. And people don't understand that. Who gives a fuck about what the restaurants are saying? Don't even worry about them. You make sure you get that order there hot. Make sure the food hot. Make sure it's not messy. Make sure the drinks are not spilled. Make sure you don't put the food in front of the doors when they open the screen door to get the
Come on.
order.
Come on.
All kind of stuff like this. It's stuff that it's nitpicking shit that you really got to work on to get the most out
Yes.
this app. And I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean be disrespectful. We need some of these people to take the bullshit orders so the professionals can get out the way and get the good money to go get
facts,
them
That's
good
right.
orders. You know what
facts,
I'm
That's
saying? We
right.
do need
That's
that.
right.
We do need that. That's why I'm gonna
Yes.
leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Roy, what do you got?
Well, the only thing that should matter is customer ratings. But when I say I don't believe in any of that other shit, the fucking tiers, the platinum, the this, the emeralds, that shit needs to go away. The only thing that matters is the customer, and that's the only rating. So there shouldn't be because I got a 5-star rating and I'm 25 emeralds, I should get better orders. No, that's not how it works. That system is the system I have a problem with because we're all signed on to be independent contractors. Mike doesn't necessarily, because he's 5 emeralds, doesn't mean that I have 0 emeralds, that he's a better delivery driver to me. If I still have a 5-star or a 4.9 customer rating, I should be entitled to all the same orders. And everybody should be entitled to those same orders. You shouldn't have to be a special tier to get better orders than everybody else.
I'm
Because
not saying you should be a special tier. I'm saying
no,
as like something like you're saying some of those tiers and all that other shit need to go. Like customer
yeah, that's what I'm
ratings
saying.
and
Yeah,
on time stuff like
that's my
that. They
biggest
need to
problem.
keep that, but keep it an even playing field. Don't just prioritize people. You know what I'm saying? Because of a
Exactly.
tier level, because they might have
And
did
that's
some
what
shit just to get that
and
tier level.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I agree. I agree.
that's my biggest problem. The customer rating, that's the only thing that matters to me. All the tier shit needs to go away. All that needs. We're all independent contractors, supposedly. We should all have access to all the orders. Just because he's 5 stars doesn't mean, or he's 5 emeralds, doesn't mean he should be getting all the good orders and I get shit orders. I'm still a 5-star rated by the customer. I should have access to all the orders. And that's my biggest problem is that you're playing favorites at that point. And that's not a true independent contract setup if you're playing favorites because he has more emeralds than me.
Yeah,
None of
but
that
that's
shit.
where Roy. That's where I don't see it as favorites because if I'm an independent contractor, laborer, if I'm an electrician, if I'm a handyman and I'm a 1099 IC and I'm getting my own work, if my ratings on a particular app are great, I'm gonna look at two people as a customer, or as a subcontractor to subcontract my roofing. I'm gonna look at teams and say who's got the
The
best
better
ratings, who has
one.
the best job, who's been
Yeah.
doing it longer. To
Yeah.
me, that stuff matters. You know what I'm saying?
That
Like,
matters.
Yeah, but you
I
can't
just
really
want
put
to
that in
say
the same
something real
thing.
quick.
A lot of that comes down to pricing. A lot of those type of jobs, plumbing, roofing, that all comes down to pricing. You can still be the top rated companies, and whoever comes with the best price is usually going to get the job. So that's not necessarily a good comparison.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you got a poorly rated contractor, and
If you're
it's only $100 more, you're probably going to spend an extra 100 to get somebody that's been doing it for 5 more years.
If you're doo-doo, and that's where they need to start kicking. Then that's where they need to start kicking people off the app. If you're below a certain rating, that, like I said, the customer rating is the one that matters. So if you're a 4.1 customer rating, you shouldn't even be on the app to begin with. That proves that you suck. And plain and simple. And that helps weed out. And that'll help weed out some of these shitty.
Just saying thank you. Like, I got a 5-star, bro. Just saying thank you. Whether it was $1 tip or it was a $10 tip, just say thank you, and your rating gonna go up. I promise you. That's all you really got to do. Just say thank you.
I like his attitude, because that's what I was trying to get at too. That's what sets everyone. But some people go out here and they don't care. They don't give it. And that's what I love about the tiers. That's what, not tiers, the ratings, because it sets you apart. The algorithm puts you out there because you're doing the extra, the little nuances, the little things that make you a little bit better. I get it. You're saying that we all are, contract, or we should be equal, but we are not. We are not all equal. Like he's saying, he say thank you. Some people walk away. Some people leave it in front of the door, and that stuff makes you. When you're on the other end of that, I've gotten my stuff put on the ground when I didn't want it to. Dogs and cats got to my stuff. I'm telling you, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. You don't want people just going out here, just going, okay, and just getting willy-nilly. It makes everything suck. It makes the thing slow down. It makes people bad experiences. It makes the whole thing bad, man.
But that's where the customer rating comes in. If you're doing that kind of shit, the customer's going to weed you out on their own just by your ratings. I shouldn't have to do cartwheels to the front door to get.
But you should be on time too. You should be on time to the store. You should be on time to the store. You should be on time to the customer.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
But you can't dictate that. You can't dictate. I can't dictate if there's a 4-car wreck in front of me, and then I got to take a detour 5 blocks around. You can't.
Yeah, but I think that levels itself out. We all can't. We all can't do that. I think historically, if you do this enough, especially full time, that stuff levels itself out. I might be in a car wreck one week, behind a car wreck at a railroad, and then another driver in my market's going to have the same experience. So I think I think the on time. I think those things are important. They separate me from other drivers, and I want to have those ratings in there.
I don't believe the on time matters.
I think those things matter.
But it can, because you don't know the restaurant situations. You don't know this stuff. Yeah, you might be on time to the restaurant, but they might be short staffed. You worked in the restaurant business, so short staffed. Food's not coming out on time. You have to wait 20 minutes when it says it should already been delivered. So a lot of that shit you can't predict. You can't even predict.
No, you're 100% right. But like I said, all the other drivers in my marketplace are going to deal with the same thing at some point, right? So
and that means that's why the rating means nothing. That's why the rating means nothing. No,
it does mean something. If I'm a quick shopper on Instacart and I know my store really well and I can shop my items 40 seconds per item, but Paul does it and it takes him a minute and a half per item, I'm a better Instacart shopper than him.
But you should do that anyways. As a good person, you should do that anyways. That's knowing your market. That's like Mind was saying, know your shit.
So those things matter. That's what I'm saying.
Know your shit.
Those metrics are what can separate us. The only one I don't like is the AR, because then you're telling an independent contractor, you have to do this to see this. All the other ones, I am 100% I'm aligned with, because I can mostly control the other things. I can't control.
And that's why I say I like what he's saying. The customer rating should be the main one.
Am I on time? Do I have good ratings?
Do
I can control that shit. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
I don't fully agree with the acceptance thing.
Are you done with coffee?
Personally, because with the acceptance thing, like I said, they got their little tricks to where they might, like, sometimes I get a bad order and I decline it. I get that fucking order 3 times in a row, and my order
Yeah,
and my
that's
rate will
messed up.
drop. It will
You should have
drop.
never gave it back to me if I declined it
If
already.
I decline the order, I shouldn't get it back. I
I
shouldn't
And
get it
should
that's
back
not
why,
see it
3 or 4
again.
times in a row.
and the
Exactly.
metrics,
They
all
got
the
to fix
metrics
that.
prove is you're an employee. That's all it proves. You're an employee because
What
they
that too,
dictate.
but at the same time,
They
if you
dictate.
don't think like an employee, then you shouldn't have nothing to worry about. The only time thing
Yeah,
that
but
you're
you don't have to think like an employee.
Mindset.
That
Mindset, baby.
their system is set up to make you an employee. Just because they tell you you're an independent contractor, yeah, it's a mindset that
like
you're an independent contractor. But when you have to have 5, when they tell you I need 4, you need to get 4 emeralds if you want to see the orders earlier. That's no different than my boss telling me I need you to do this before you can do this. There's no difference there. It's the same thing. They're
I mean,
dictating your acceptance rate going to dictate how many orders you're going to get. Your
and that's
customer
why
rating dictates how many orders you get. Your completion rate dictates how many orders you get. That's no different than that's no different than a boss telling you you need to pick up your delivery speed or I'm not going to give you orders. It's no fucking different.
But they
That's
also
why.
got to protect
guess what?
they got to protect their.
In
Go ahead.
trucking, in trucking, the shit that you're talking about, we live with that shit every fucking day. We can be
Yeah.
good, we can be early, and
Sure.
we can be independent contractor and truck driving. When you got a truck payment every week, they might give you 3 or 4 options as a load. If you decline all 4 of them loads, guess whose fault that is?
Yours.
That's your fault. That's your fault. But I'm still technically considered an independent contractor, and my truck payment has to be made by the end of the week. It's certain type shit that these companies are just not going to bend on. They're just not going to fold. I'm letting
Yeah.
you know right now. They're not.
Yeah.
And the trucking industry makes way more than this gig industry. I'm telling you right fucking now they do. So I'm trying to tell you, if we sit here complaining as gig workers for $200 a day, $300 a day type shit, you're hurting your brain for no fucking reason. You're just hurting your
Yep.
brain. I'm telling you.
That's
Don't
it.
even fight it. Don't even fight it. Find a way to work around it. You talking about the on time thing? Man, I'm being straight up honest with y'all. I accept the order at the house, and they might take the order away from me if I'm 15 minutes late. I take
Yep.
my fucking time to go get that order. If it's a grocery order, I'm gonna take my time to go get that
Oh
fucking
yeah.
order
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
sure it delivered and make sure it's
Yep.
fresh.
Yep.
I'm not making them put pressure on me to get in my car to rush in there, might cause an accident or some shit just to get the order, get it done. No, I'm not doing that shit. There's tips and tricks, which I won't mention on here, where you
Yep.
can get
Yep.
around certain type
Yes, you will
shit
not.
and get over this algorithm and still keep going and get your money. I'm telling you, you have to study the app, study
You
the
have to.
patterns,
You
study the
have to.
patterns. If they give you 2 big orders and your ass just keep thinking that you're gonna run, oh shit, I'm gonna get 4 or 5 big orders back to back to back. You're wrong. Guess what? Them
Yep.
$2 orders are coming. Them
They
$3
coming.
orders are coming, and they're
They
gonna bring
coming.
that rating down. They're gonna bring
Yep.
it down, and it's gonna mess with your feelings. It's gonna mess with your mindset, and you're like, oh
Mm-hmm.
fuck, I'm done for today. They're not
Yep.
paying me no more money. Well, no. They got to get other money out to the other drivers that's working the app just like you. But you
Yep.
got to figure out ways to maneuver around this app. You cannot sit here and say, oh, well, I got this, I'm this top person and customer rating is this, and they gave me this, so I should keep
Yep.
going and getting this, and that. They're
Yep.
not going to do
Yep.
that. It's base pay, it's money. At the bottom of the day, it's straight money. That's what it is. You get this amount of money, you get this amount of money, and when we give you this amount of money, if your ass greedy, well, I'm gonna give you the shitty orders until the other motherfuckers get the money that they deserve first, and you're gonna get them shit orders, and you have to keep running them shit orders until you go home. That's how that shit works.
Yep.
Plain and simple. That's how it works. If I don't take an order and they give me 4 options as a truck driver, and I know I got a truck payment at the end of the week, guess fucking what? Guess what? I'm fucking behind, and I still got to figure out some shit how I'm gonna get another fucking load to pay this truck payment because I
Yep.
declined 4 offers. You gonna have to figure out something and maneuver away some way, but you cannot sit here and complain and think these people give a fuck because they do not. They do not care. They do not care. And for the ones that keep writing customer service, customer support, oh well, my app did this, the glitch happened with this. Why am I getting this? Why am I getting that? They're gonna get your ass up out of there. They're gonna get you up out of there because you keep complaining. They're going to get you right up out of there. They're going to give you bad orders. They're going to make sure you go to bad areas. They're going to make sure you go to bad restaurants. All that shit plays in effect. And it's going to happen to you if you keep complaining and don't figure the shit out. Figure out the app. Figure out the areas. Figure out
Yep.
what happens.
Yep.
Some people like to do hours. No, do a simple hour. And then do it again. Get back on there and do another hour. Don't do consecutive hours because you on a pay scale. At the end of the day, you on a pay scale. You not getting no $500 to $800 a day on DoorDash. I don't give a fuck who it is.
You would
can get
never get that.
across the board.
You would never
get
get that. You would never get that.
You're not going to get it. I don't care how hard you work. You can start from 12 a.m. to the 12 a.m. the next day, and you're not going to get that level that
the
you
most you'll get up out of them is 400.
Depending on what area you in. Depending on
no,
what
that's
area
24 hours. We talking about 24 hours too.
And as a truck driver, telling you guys that's not truck drivers or whatever, if you study the areas, when I see my app come up, I don't even got to zoom in. I'm like, man, I know where that's at. Click. I click to the next one. Oh, I know that's a hood area right there. I ain't going to fuck over there. Click. All my orders are to gated communities, man. That's because I work the algorithm. They know my ass is special. He's not gonna go to the hood. We're not gonna send him that shit.
You sound a little bougie.
Well, hey, I'm right in his. Hey, I do the same thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't play that.
But I'm sitting here telling y'all, if you sitting there taking these orders,
I don't play that.
It's a bad area and it's a high paying order to a bad area. Well, guess what? That ad gonna say, well, hell, they don't care about where they go at. We're gonna keep giving them orders that just such area. Well, you're fooling yourself.
It definitely.
All right,
I go to yacht clubs. I'm at yacht clubs.
I gotta go. Thanks for everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Roy, hold on. Right, Roy, thanks for coming in. I'm gonna round. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. I want to say thanks to Roy, Mike, Paul, Healthy. Was that Mindset? I appreciate you guys for coming on the panel, especially you two guys at the bottom. I don't know if you've been on here before, but I appreciate you guys for showing up. Paul, was this your first time on the panel as well?
Well, first time live on the channel. It's not the first time I've caught your live streams.
No, but I think you joined the panel though. I think I hadn't seen you before, so I just want to say thank you for coming up. Great conversation. We didn't solve any of the world's gig problems today, and we never will on this channel. It's not about that, but I do like to get different perspectives, talk about topics, talk about what I'm seeing, get your guys' perspective on how you look at the apps and how it relates to the current things that you're doing in your marketplaces. So I appreciate you guys for giving me your time tonight. Have a good rest of your Sunday, gentlemen. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Hey,
yes,
peace
sir.
out.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Oh, hold up. Oh, there it is. Move. Okay. So yeah, tonight we're talking about, we talked about legislation, how my analogy was, I think, we're in muddy waters. Okay, imagine you're on a field, it's muddy, you got your brand new shoes on, you don't like it, you're upset, your shoes are dirty, and you're mad at the rain, you're mad at the guy providing the rain, you don't like it, you don't want to stand in mud, so you dig a little hole. That's the legislation. You stand in the hole, it's not as muddy, you're feeling a little bit better, like, oh, I like this vantage point, I can get out of, we're going to keep, the more legislation we have, we're just going to keep digging, and we're going to look up and be like, I can't get the fuck out of this hole right now. And I think that's what we're doing in some places. We're wanting to have these little battles that we're winning, and I get it, okay? But we're going to lose the war, okay? We're aligning ourselves with politicians. I'm going to say this right now. YouTube might cancel me. I don't care. I am anti-government, okay? I'm going to say it again for everybody in the back of the class. I am anti-government. I don't trust politicians. The tax code, the tax system, it's all a scam. It's all a fraud. It's all perpetrated to keep us working and indentured. I don't like it. I don't trust politicians as far as I can throw them. I don't care if I don't trust it. So we're aligning ourselves with people that we don't trust because we have apps that we work for that we don't trust. Logically, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, do I think some things need to change? Yeah, I do. But I don't think the current legislation is the way to do it. I think us getting together as people, as workers, as individuals on a local level and having your voice heard that way will scream louder than anything else. But I understand, legislation can help at times. But I just think there's so many different types depending on where you live. It just doesn't make sense. It's confusing. Why we have certain things here, but not over here, but we're doing the same work doesn't make any logical sense. It does not make sense at all. It doesn't. the experience that we're asking for um, should be mostly the same. You know, like it. You know, and we're not aligned, and we never will be. That's not an issue. It's just a reality. You know, what I can do in St. Louis is different than any other market, maybe. Right? It's a medium-sized city. I do okay here. I mean, I got deactivated from Spark. It's how what has it been? Maybe 5, 6 weeks, and I'm still making good money. Like it. You know, the thing we have to remember is, you don't like an app. Okay, you can choose to work less of it or not at all or whatever, and try to give your time to something that might better suit you based on how they work their app, based on the pay, based on if there's ratings or rankings or not, if you think they're fair or not. The opportunities are out there for you. If we continue to take the trash, the crap, and do nothing about it, nothing will change. So hey, if you feel like you need to write in a legislation, do it. That could help you. But I think overall, we're digging holes, standing in water or in soil that's not as muddy, and we think we're winning. We're going to lose the war. We're going to continue to dig, and we're not going to be able to get out. The best way to get out, I think, is just personal responsibility, leveling up with different opportunities, and try to build something of your own that they can't take away from you. I talked about that a couple of months ago. Because any of these apps can be taken away. They've been taken away from me, from you. Opportunities become less. Saturation comes in. You can't control any of that stuff. But if we're looking for politicians to write legislation for us and to get things passed, if we think it's going to serve us better in the long run, I think we're wrong. I do think we're wrong. I'm worried that we're looking for small wins at the cost of the actual big war, the big game, the big the bigger picture. Because it's not a war. This is food delivery, right? I'm using that as just a word. It's easy. What we do is very easy. I did a $90. It was actually $83. I had a catering tonight at 6:30. It came in yesterday. Very rare on Sunday. I was like, I'm doing that. 1.2 miles from Crazy Bowls and Wraps. Dropped it off to some a college women's soccer team. It was $83, but I had to wait so long for it because the timing was a little weird. I wound up paying like 91, but it was still worth my time. It was great. This work is easy. There aren't a lot of jobs that I can make $91 in an hour and a half with no education. There's just not. And is that every hour, every day? No. But in St. Louis, I can do okay with just 2 or 3 apps. And it's worth my time overall. So when I get passionate and I complain, or if I say I want this, or we need to do this, it's not for me. It's for the other people. Because I tell you what, in St. Louis, maybe Tim could have said, I see people driving around. And I talked about competition and try to separate yourself, and I do believe in that. Free market, open competition, separate yourself. You can make more money by doing things that other drivers aren't willing to do. And that can be personalized, however you want to take that. But I see people driving around, and it looks like they ain't got 2 nickels to rub together, and they're doing DoorDash or Uber or whatever, and the companies know their demographic of driver, and it's my thought process. And y'all can call me bleeding heart. I'm fine with it. Don't care. Maybe my heart does bleed a little bit. Maybe it does. But these companies, man, I'm telling you, they know what they got. They know who they're servicing, whether it's on the customer end, and they know who has the apps and why they came to the apps and how desperate they are. Because when you come to these apps, most people, maybe not you, but most, and maybe you at some point, you were desperate. You either just got fired, furloughed, laid off, okay, or you got divorced, or you needed another side hustle to pay for this to do. You came here not because you were just like, yay, now I get to do DoorDash. No, not most of y'all. And then maybe you had to stay because you did good, or maybe you stayed because you have no other opportunity. And the companies know that, and they're going to keep dangling carrots with tier programs or this or that, or be your own boss. You are not your own boss delivering food. And it's not about a mindset or not. That's just a fact. You could have a different mindset and flip it into being like a boss and making good money. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you don't control much. Accept decline. Yeah, I thought differently a couple years ago, but right now, like I'm telling you, these companies are getting away with a lot of shit. They're stealing, they're manipulating, and I'm not okay with it. I'm not. And they're doing it on the backs of poor people. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not saying you're poor, but they are doing it on the backs of poor people, like many other huge companies have done in this country. Okay, this country was built on the backs of poor people. Maybe some bright individuals that were opportunistic, and then poor people. And DoorDash and Uber and Instacart are doing the same exact thing, but they put a nice little bow on it saying, be your own boss. And most of y'all ain't paying into anything. You're not investing. You have no benefit. You have no 401k. You're not putting into Social Security. You got nothing to show for it but a car that you're driving into the ground. And these are facts. And that doesn't mean this is your experience or that it will be your experience. But I'm telling you right now, that is the majority of drivers' experiences, because consumerism is healthy and people love to eat. And these apps love to make you feel some type of way. But that's who I'm looking at. Call me bleeding heart. I really don't care. It's the truth. And it's not that I'm like trying to like, I'm not like worried like, oh, these poor people. No, they can figure it, like they can figure it out, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the companies are being shady. I mean, they're stealing money, they're skimming tips. Why that doesn't make more people pissed off, I don't understand it. It should. It should. The order that I did today was a 73, 75, something dollar tip on there. And then they gave me a little bit more for my wait time, and it was like, I don't know, maybe $10 base pay or whatever it was. Yeah, it was $73 tip, $10 base pay. The order came in at 83, wound up paying me $90 and like 2 cents. Okay? So it paid me fine. I was good with it. Okay? But there could have been $100 tip on that order. And then they take some of that money? No. I did like, these companies are all doing it, man. I'm telling you. I'm not saying it happened on this order, but they're all doing it. And if we all just say, it is what it is, it is what it is, it is what it is, this is what I signed up for, it's what I signed up for. Just because you sign a contract doesn't make it right. If you're a musician and you signed some bogus contract back in the day because you just were happy to have a record label, you know how many record execs get over on artists? And then years later, they're trying to get their masters back, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. I mean, people will take advantage of you if you will let them. And a lot of drivers, the majority of, are being taken advantage of. And we're wanting to have this, we're wanting transparency, and I want this and I want that. I get it. But that is like, it's so insignificant compared to what actually we need, in my opinion. It needs to be rehauled, revamped, reimagined. Maybe reimagined is a better word. It needs to be reimagined. And I ain't trying to just win these little battles. All right. I'm competitive. I want to win the war. And the war is holding the companies accountable to a level that they're not at right now. Okay? Because consumerism, man, I'm telling you, it's great. I get it. But there's a lot of shady things. Big money is always dirty. And these companies, some of them are really big, DoorDash, Uber, big, dirty. Some of the ones that are trying to get big, they're getting dirty and doing dirty things in order to get big, to get publicly traded. They're all doing it. Your favorite one is doing it. And I'm not for that, man. I think it's crazy that we just like, I'm just happy for the opportunity. It's all good. It's all good. Nah, it's not all good. It's not. It's not. When they're skimming and stealing, it's not all good. Did I say something about unions? You must have been here in the beginning. See, that's the thing. Some of y'all have this mindset. We talked about mindset earlier, and it's like I'm my own boss or I'm independent, and you wear this independent contractor name tag. It's like you're looking at like being an employee is a bad thing. Since when is that? Since when having a W-2 is a bad thing? Since when is having a boss a bad thing? Why is that bad? Why do we? I think some of us in this community look like we act like we're better than other people because I'm an independent contractor. I don't feel that way. I'm not better than the guy making the pizzas at the Pizza Hut. I'm not better than them because he has a name tag on and I don't have to have a name tag. Like, it's like this weird thing that we somehow think after the pandemic. I'm an independent contractor, so I don't want unions, and you have no, like, you sound silly. You sound really silly, because we're saying we don't want unions, but then we got unions in our legislation that we're writing. Like it's like weird to me, the things that I'm seeing and the things that I'm hearing. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You know, we're anti-legislation and now we want more legislation. Like it's very strange how we're trying to pander to just a couple hundred people when the companies are taking advantage of millions of drivers every single day. All of them do it. And just because they're not taking advantage of me, because maybe I'm lucky in St. Louis and I have a YouTube and like I'm not impacted as much, doesn't mean I can't still be passionate for a fellow driver that's struggling, that can't pay the rent. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. The system that we have is broken and it needs to be reimagined. That's my stance on it. And if I'm on the hill by myself, I'm cool. I kind of like being by myself anyway. I'll kick up a chair. I'll throw a picnic. I'll put the picnic blanket on the hill. I'll eat my potato chips and my whatever, and I'll be chilling by myself. Like, I'm good with that. And I can look at everybody else and I'll just say hi and much love and respect and salute you. And you're over there and I'm over here. But at the end of the day, man, I ain't trying to be with these politicians. I'm not. Let me say it again. I'll end with this. I am not with the politicians and the government getting involved in the way that it's currently being stated. I think we need to reimagine some things, and I want accountability. Maybe legislation is the way to go about it, but I'm not happy about it. I do not. I don't trust politicians. I don't trust the government at all. I'd rather just keep everything the way it is than to get involved with that, because I believe that is worse actually than what we currently have. Anyways, um, anyway, that's all I got. It's long live tonight. I appreciate everybody that came on the panel. I appreciate all thumbs up, the few super chats that we had, and I appreciate that very, very much. Once again, this channel is about insight, perspective. I don't know it all. I like to hear other people's opinions. I do get passionate and boisterous about things. I put my hand up, like, that's my personality. That's how I am. And what's great about the country we live in, is that I can have these opinions freely, and some people will listen, and some people will scratch their heads, and some people will be like, "That's crazy," or "Oh, no, that makes sense." But that's great. We can all have that, and we're all still, this work is way better than I think a lot of us give it credit for. Like, I just don't like what the companies do, but the opportunities are fantastic, and I'm grateful for them. I just, I'm more upset about the system and the advantages that the companies and the investors and the CEOs, the advantages that they take, that the system has within it. It's broken. The system's broken, and it serves a few, and the rest of us are just getting crumbs in 2025. Like, and that's fucked up to me. It just is, and it goes beyond the gig economy. It just is. So that's where I'm at with this. I appreciate y'all very much. Sometimes you got to go on these little rants every once in a while. This week coming up, what do we got going on? Regular week, not a whole lot. I'm Diamond now on Instacart, so I've gotten one really good priority batch. I hit Diamond, I believe, on Thursday, and I got one like $80 order that was good. But I was getting good orders before, so we'll see if there's any things with that and the Costco, whatever. I don't know. I worked a little bit today. It was really good. And then I also had that catering at 6:30. So today, it was a Sunday. I don't usually work, but I did work today. 240 I made. I'll take it on a Sunday. I felt like I didn't even do much. So very grateful, very humbled to have that. But this week, just a regular week coming up. Plan on making the videos that I make. Appreciate all the love and support. Appreciate you guys still sticking around. We're bringing back these lives. I think this is the fourth one we've done in the last 5 weeks. I think I missed last week. So the plan is to do one a week, at least one every other week, something like that. I enjoy the panels. I enjoy the perspective, the insight. I like ending the week with you guys, and we did it for basically over 3 years, and I stopped for a while, but I really love to do these, actually. Mindset, appreciate that $2, man. Nice to meet you finally, Pedro. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Not necessary, but definitely appreciate the support. My plan is to still, to continue to do these things and talk about topics that are relevant to you guys or my experience or other people's experiences. Like I said, I got 100 emails in the last 4 days, 3 or 4 days. I think 4 days, maybe 5 days. Yeah, 4 days. From people talking about deactivation, help me, or this was, or mostly was just, this is my experience. This is what happened. This is the timeline. It's crazy. I didn't do anything. So if there's hundreds, man, that means there's tens of thousands. Because this is not a, I can't touch every gig worker. So the deactivation thing it's an issue, man. And part of me thinks I think these companies do it on purpose just to bring new drivers in. Like that's just the way it is. They got to bring new people in. It's like if you got a whole bunch of servers, you try to weed out a few, and the way you do that in the service industry is you just give the lower performing people, you don't give them a lot of shifts, and eventually they quit, and then you bring new people in. I think the deactivations, I think that's just part of it, and it's crazy though because it takes away somebody's earning potential and sometimes your livelihood of paying your bills. So it's crazy. Um, Anyways, that's what I got. I don't want to hold a politician's hand and for them to pretend like they give a fuck about us because they don't. And I'll stand on the hill and die alone in that. They don't care about you. It's a good way to end the video.